Judgment time.
Welcome to Everything Comes Back to 2008, and today I'm joined by Mr. Stephen Ross.
Mr. Rossy, what you want? Oh, the tree of ice cream cones, a cocoa castle for a home, custard cakes, coffee breaks, holiday world to say.
Hello from sunny Southern California, and what a week it's been.
And Mr. John Burtis.
Hello to all you drockers, and what a fucking weekend it has been for me! Hooray! But let's get off and get the deaths in quick, because obviously their lives are over, and who cares? Right. First up, let's see if we know this name. We should have a rough inkling. Felix Baumgartner, age 56.
Is he one of the dwarfs from Mordor with that last name?
Yeah.
Close. He was that skydiver and extreme sportsman who did the jump from space, from the helium balloon in the stratosphere.
Did he finally land and not make it?
Yes,
Yeah,
he died.
he opened up his parachute and there's a piano there instead of a parachute.
He died during a powered paragliding flight in Porto San Elipido near the town of Fermo, Italy.
I love how you butcher all these names.
Hey, we invented the world's language, so we're actually
the French and German did. You just stole it.
Oh, we fucking did it all and crashed. And so he lost control of the craft and crashed into a wooden hut near a swimming pool. And one person was injured by debris from the impact. So it was always going to happen that he was going to die doing the stuff he loved. And I always laugh when people say, well, at least he died, and they'll use a phrase again, doing the stuff he loved. I'd rather not die doing fucking stuff I love. I'd rather die fucking in my sleep when I'm a fucking 110. You know what I mean? Just not wake up. But anyway, so he's gone. Next up, and this is a very good one, Gioro Epstein, aged 87. He's one of our fucking awesome Israelis. Yes, he was an Israeli fighter ace who fucking actually shot down fucking quite a few fucking enemy jets. 17 victories, 16 against the Egyptian jets and one against an Egyptian Mi-8 helicopter. He was the ace of aces of supersonic fighter jets.
He was the ace of spades.
Yeah, no kidding.
Probably people have surpassed his fucking numbers, so he was a proper ace in the latter years, not just World War II stuff. So well done, Israel, destroying your enemy. Yep. Next up, we have what Mr. Ross gave me, Malcolm Jamal Warner, age 54, an American actor, musician, and poet. And apparently, he died...
Fucking poet is in his description.
Yes!
Oh my
God. Died.
Thank God he's dead.
Yeah.
I kid.
He drowned during a family holiday in Costa Rica through a 6-year. He was caught by a strong current, bloody current, say, if only it had been a raisin, while swimming off Cockles Beach in Limon on the country's Atlantic coast. And so that was in like the news breaking bit. So let's go into what I've got. So he fucking starred in tons of shit. Obviously, The Cosby Show, the show which was about a fucking rapist pervert.
We didn't know. Nobody knew.
Everyone fucking knows everything. You just fucking pretend.
No.
Malcolm in the Middle. He was in The Resident. He was in, where's that other one he was in? He was in a thing that I've heard of.
Well, he seems to have shaken away the role he had in the Cosby Show, because the Cosby Show went on for years. You think he would have been typecast, but it seems he got rid of that.
Oh, he was in Dexter. He was in an episode of Dexter. He was in the Michael J. Fox Show, The Sons of Anarchy. He was in that. The Wonder Years. Let's have a look.
Black Power Ranger. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Okay. He was also an award. He was a Grammy-winning musician, and let's say he was a poet.
What did he win his Grammy for?
Did he release a rap album? Is that what the Grammy?
He did a Grammy Award for Best Traditional R&B Performance for his contribution to a cover of Stevie Winwood's. Stevie Winwood.
Oh, his contribution.
Jesus, Children of America. Warner performed a poem on the track dedicated to the victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary Shooting School. He should have done a poem reference to his best mate's fucking sex attacks. Obviously, he didn't. So that's what he got all that for. Right, and my last one is Charles Organs, aged 81, British actor, dancer, and choreographer. And we will all know him, who've watched the programme, for his portrayal of Queeg in one episode of Red Dwarf. He also choreographed for the Red Dwarf a tongue-tied dance scene in the episode Parallel Universe, and he choreographed for the movie A Labyrinth, as well as voicing one of the puppets. And in 1989, he appeared as himself in the Jeff Goldblum comedy film, The Tall Guy. So, I remember, once I'd seen a picture of him, I knew exactly who he was from the Red Dwarf thing. So there we are. There's all the deaths that I've got.
That's not all the deaths. You missed the big one.
God, Flint!
the death of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Oh!
He single-handedly destroyed an institution. The Late Show had been going since the 50s with Johnny, and then had Johnny Carson, and now it's gone completely. Next year they run out his contract. He's gone, and the thing is,
no, the Tonight Show.
Oh, the Tonight Show, right?
That's the Jimmy Fallon one,
right? So
he's
next.
I think was created the guy who the Scottish guy. I think that was created for him.
Craig Ferguson, yeah. He was supposed to take over from Letterman, and the studio backstabbed him. So that's why he quit, because Craig Ferguson took pot shots at both sides.
Wasn't he a footballer, Craig Ferguson?
Say that again.
Wasn't he a footballer, Craig Ferguson?
No, that's the
apparently he was friends with. I think he had. Who's the Scottish doctor? The other Scottish Doctor Who, the older guy.
Capaldi.
What? Capaldi. Yeah, I think he had Capaldi on, and it was implied that they knew each other from punk rock days.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
His show was so good that I used to. There's no way I'm staying up that late to watch it. I would record it and watch it the next day, and you'd be in tears laughing at some of his material. It was so funny.
Oh, he's good.
Because he didn't care, because he was in that dead spot that nobody, so he could get away with whatever he wanted.
Right.
In order to stop him from leaving, I think they redid the studio and gave him a bigger set and everything. It's like, no, dude, you passed me over. You Letterman said I could have the gig, and you guys said no. You put Colbert in there, or whatever, or Fallon, what it was. Anyway, with Colbert, the reason they gave wasn't because of his content, but because they were losing money. They were losing 40 to 50 million a year with Colbert.
God.
And Colbert was earning around 20 million a year. So
I heard it was famously awful and unwatchable when during the lockdowns he was doing it from home and was like writing it all himself. And
well, the thing with him is he has a staff of 200 people on that show. Guffield has
200.
Yeah, listen to this. Guffield, who's on Fox, Fox only go into like 60 million homes here in the United States, like terrestrial TV. His show, Colbert, reaches over 300 million households. And yet, Gutfield is trouncing them all in the ratings. So that just tells you that there's something odd going on. And I think when you're in charge of a late show like that and you're beamed across the whole nation, when you ostracize half of your audience and half of your audience doesn't bother watching because you're so political, you're in trouble. And the reason they canned him wasn't because it was politics; it's because he was losing money. And at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. If you're not successful financially, you're going to get canned. And the reason they haven't canned him right away is because he's probably under contract. He probably has the rest of his contract to run. So they need to pay him that, and then he's gone. But it's you know, they say it's not because of content, but it has to be, because if your content's bad, nobody watches your show. It's like going into a restaurant and saying, well, the restaurant's shutting down for financial reasons, not because the food is shit, but just financial. Well, they go hand in hand together. So
I don't know that comedy skit where he was dancing with
the
syringes, telling people to take the jab. That you'd think that would double an audience, because you know, people like music, people like comedy. You get twice as many people watching because it's funny and that singing. You get dancer. You know,
he went too extreme, and then
half your audience, when you tell half your audience to fuck off, it's like, well, you know, why should they stick around?
But then you're crying when the person that's politically opposite to you wins an election. You're crying over it like it's fucking doomsday. I mean, Jesus. So now the thing is that Colbert was always second in the ratings to Gutfield. The others, like Fallon and Kimmel, are even lower. So I think you're going to see the death of late night talk shows. I know they tried to do something similar on Netflix. They tried what's that guy's name? He's a real smarmy guy. He used to write for SNL. Oh,
Dennis
Mulhaney.
Oh, okay.
John Mulhaney. They tried to do a talk show kind of format for Netflix, but it didn't go down well. I think that the late night talk show is over. If you look at Gutfield, I keep calling him Gutfield, like Renfield or something. If you look at Gutfield and you see his format, he doesn't really have guests on. Like, he doesn't have the Hollywood actors on. He has a set crew. Like, he has like Tyrus, the ex-wrestler guy. He has Kennedy that used to do MTV. She appears on it, and he has Jim Norton. And I don't know if you know who Jim Norton is. He looks like Uncle Fester's love child. But he's appeared on Joe Rogan a few times. He's an independent. He's an independent. He's not Republican and he's not Democrat. But he says some of the funniest shit really close to the bone. I mean, that's the thing with Gutfield's show. It's very, you know exactly what they mean with their double entendres and everything. It's just, and I think that's why, because it's comedy unleashed, while the others have to watch what they say and they throw in so much politics and everything else. And Gutfield is political because it's on Fox News. But but it's funny. I mean, and he will take shots at both sides. So I think the late show, that kind of talk show format is done, and it would have been done anyways, even if it wasn't for. I mean, Colbert killed it format. He just absolutely killed it, because he just didn't kill. It's not just him gone. He's not being replaced. So the show the institution's done. It's over.
Well, it doesn't even make sense anymore, because it's like, you know, if all it is celebrities coming on to shill stuff, you have access to celebrities 24/7, and you can filter in like whoever you want to see. So like my Instagram's got like Weird Al Yankovic and the ones that I want to see whatever they have to say. It isn't just, okay, this is them on to shill whatever they've got going, you know, this week or the season or whatever. So, you know, you don't have to sit through all the celebrities you don't like or who are boring or you don't care about or whatever.
I also think YouTube, TikTok, and all those kind of things have kind of, you know, replaced the talk show stuff. It's just out of place. It's just a format that's out of place. It's like 2000AD. It's just a format that looks completely archaic and out of place.
Yeah, well, I mean, anytime you have anything, well, that format's even older than 2000AD. So you're looking at a format that's it has to be pushing 100 years old, right? Because it's, or at least 75 years old. Because
I
it's
think
like
the Late Show came out in the 50s.
yeah, almost all of the like the first of those or the Tonight Show when
Who was
Steve
before
Allen,
Carson? Who was the one before Carson?
it was Jack Parr and then Steve Allen, I think, or Steve Allen then Jack Parr and then Johnny Carson.
Well, who's the guy that had a really good show? Who's that guy?
That was oh shit.
He did the Beatles. He had the Beatles on. And Elvis.
Yeah,
Old guy.
I know.
I thought he was one of the first. He was one of the first guys, right?
Yeah, he was an early, but that was, to be fair, that was more of a variety show. That
That's
was just
Sullivan,
that they
right?
come out and perform. It's Sullivan, yes.
Ed Sullivan.
They did, but also he was that was more of a variety show
Variety
with
style,
performances. The Steve Allen thing was like they come out and they talk.
Right.
So I don't even know if I mean that there, for all I know, because I don't really know that much about classic radio, that might have been like a carryover from some
Right, from
classic
radio.
radio thing.
Then
Yeah.
you had what's his name? The ginger-haired guy, Cabot. Is that his name? Cabot.
Conan O'Brien?
No. This is an old school guy. He used to interview like Muhammad Ali and
Oh, I'm not
ginger-haired guy. No, he's a ginger, so he's no soul. No wonder I can't remember his name.
right.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
that
just
format is
an
dead.
outline.
I think it's not suitable for today's era, anyways. But it's just funny that Colbert is the one. And of course, the left are turning it into the freedom of speech thing. Dude, you can have as
Right.
much freedom of speech as you want. If you're not bringing home the bacon in a private company, you're going to get sacked.
Yeah.
And the story, the company cannot keep on running at a loss. It's not going to happen. They're going to have to get rid of you.
But I wonder how many things now are like that, because like the last few Marvel movies haven't made money and they keep putting them out.
Well, they're banking on the Robert Downey Jr. Doomsday thing.
Indiana Jones didn't make money, and they're talking about doing a new one of
Well,
those.
stop making shit movies.
The two Judge Dredd movies didn't make money, and they're talking about making another one of those. So it's like I don't understand like why. Well, I understand why they want to keep the institutions going, but I don't understand like if
movies are a bit different because the reason they're making all these sequels and stuff like that is because it's got built-in publicity. They don't have to do that much marketing.
Yeah, but now it's become anti-publicity. Like there was a time. Here's an example. So there was a time when Julie Strain being in a movie went from oh boy boobs to this is going to be god awful because she's going to film like whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like the Western movie you did in Kickstarter, Rossy.
What, the Cynthia Rothrock thing?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
No. This is different. There's like this class of celebrities towards the final days of direct to video or direct to DVD, whereas like their appearance in that film means like it's going to be a rock bottom budget and it's going to be awful because that whatever that scene is that they're in, they filmed it like in a day.
Like all of Steven Seagal's latest movies.
No, to his credit, he's still, he'll go to whatever
Russia,
European country. And
did you watch that Tom Segura? What is that his name? Did you watch that skit he did?
Okay, so my intention. So I have two things to. I have an announcement and I have an apology.
You coming out of the closet?
No, you know me. No, you know me with my technology problem issues, right? Everything I have is usable, but it's old, which just means I can't.
You have to hand crank it to warm it up.
Yeah,
and then what do you do about the machines?
So once it gets going, it's usually fine. But there's always a work.
We're still talking about computers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I obtained those 2 seasons of that show with good intentions, fully intending to watch it because your recommendation was great. Steven Seagal parody, I'm there for it. I'm not dancing around it. The only reason it's like, even the inconvenience of not being able to watch it with my dad, which would be the easiest way for me to see it, because he will not sit through a comedy anything. So I fully intended to watch it. So I put it into my my TV, and the file wouldn't play.
Oh no!
So yeah,
Get the file from John.
There's a certain what?
John should be able to give you that file because you watched it on the Seven Seas, right, John?
Oh,
What was that?
The Tom
That's
Segura, the oh shit, can't remember that. God,
usually that sort of thing. There's like 5 or 6 of them available. That just happened. The show was still like kind of new, so that was the only one I saw at the time. It was the first one I saw at the time. So I'll go back to the well and see what I can find. I just kind of like where
John,
right now.
Hold on. John, are you still there?
Yeah.
It's a Tom Segura show. Remember when he did the impression of Steven Seagal?
Oh, I can't even remember that bloke's name. Tom Segura doesn't ring a bell with me.
Yeah, remember he did the assassin that shit his pants. And he had to take off his
Oh,
pants.
fuck me, him, yeah.
the Steven Seagal bit. You know, I said that you sailed the 7 seas for that too, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
I said you could give that file to Rossy because Rossy's the one that's corrupted.
It's not corrupted. It's just that it was It's like that 10-point whatever sound, like really good sound, and it's like too much for my TV. But it'll be fine. Now, but talking about shitting one's pants.
Oh my God.
So I logged into Facebook, and the third thing that showed up on my scroll was from get the bell out, John. Was the bell was first of all, you can hear me fine. There's no corruption. There's no weirdness, right?
Yeah.
Nothing going on with the sound. Okay.
No, it's
There's
good.
a reason. Okay, I'm going to tie all this together right now because talk about shitting one's pants. Third thing on the scroll in one of the Micronauts groups is that all of the episodes, all 2 completed seasons of the Irish-made Micronaut cartoon ended up on archive.org this morning. So am I downloading that as we speak? Fuck, yes, I am. But I don't have enough room in my computer for all the episodes. So I'm going to have to download season 1, transfer it onto a disc, and then delete it, and then download season 2, transfer it onto a disc, and then I'll have the whole thing.
More stuff to burn on the funeral pyre.
Oh my God. I have a feeling I'll be able to get through maybe 3 episodes tops because it looks so awful. It's like Micronauts in name only, but there you go.
Well, before we do Kickstarter Corner, let's do Adventures in Trumpland. Okay. There was a huge bombshell that was dropped a few days ago, and it showed how the Obama administration, probably under Obama's orders, totally set about the Russia hoax to hamper Trump and get rid of him. It was like a secret coup, which led to different impeachments and everything else. Tulsi Gabbard released some files, and she's releasing more to show what they did. And here's what she wrote. Americans will finally learn the truth about how in 2016 intelligence was politicized and weaponized by the most powerful people in the Obama administration to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, subverting the will of the American people and undermining our democratic republic. And then she showed a graph of how they did it. What happened is they got real intel assessment back in 2016 that Russia and criminal actors did not impact the U.S. election results by conducting cyber attacks on infrastructure or anything like that. So that turned out to be that they didn't have the capacity to do that. Right? Trump wins the election. Then on December 8th, Obama is briefed by the intelligence community that contradicts the Russian host narrative, and then he decides to ignore it, and they outline a new assessment that claimed the election was hacked. Then, of course, they leak it all to all the propaganda arm, which is all the fake news, NBC, New York Times, Washington Post. They weaponized it, and that's what led to the Russian hoax. So people need to go to jail. Here's another one from her, Their goal was to usurp President Trump and subvert the will of the American people. No matter how powerful, every person involved in this conspiracy must be investigated and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The integrity of a democratic republic depends on it. People need to go to jail, and she's referred it to the Department of Justice for criminal referrals. But people need to go to jail for it, and if people don't go to jail for it, the shit's going to happen again when somebody else comes up that either left or right don't like. So I don't think Barry himself will go, but I think everybody else around him will, because I think it sets a bad precedent to go after it. But the thing is, this is what the Democrats do, right? They push everything to the limit, and they go unreasonable against an opponent. That then later on, it's like they don't realize that their opponent can do the same thing to them. They went after Trump. They tried to put him in jail, take him off ballots. They tried all this stuff to attack him, a former president, that you just don't do. And because they set up that president, now it's fair game that Trump goes after them. Absolutely fair game, because they did it to him. If they hadn't been such cockbags, they would have got away. It's like when they say, well, the president doesn't have the power to do that. They went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, yeah, the president does. Because he's the president of the United States, and now you've had it set in stone that the president can do this, and so that's what Trump's gonna. It's just they're just idiots. They're absolute idiots. So people need to go to jail for that. And more's coming out. Go ahead,
and
John.
anyone who keeps saying that on Facebook, saying that it was all the Russians, they should go to jail as well. That includes all those 2000 AD fans I keep seeing and creators. Go to jail, because if you share something that somebody else has said it's a lie, in our country for definitely, they come after you, don't they? So
well, we knew it was partly a stitch-up job. We knew this part.
Oh, of course. Only a fucking idiot would think it was all true.
Right, and then all the things they did to go after him, and because he's not one of them. Trump has never been one of them. Yeah, he's a billionaire, but he's never been in their circles, like their political circles. He's an outsider. He didn't go to the same colleges as they did. So the Uniparty, I mean, even some Republicans, went after him too at the time over the Russian hoax. So we'll see what happens.
It's like over here. If you say a specific thing, a certain group of people will call you specific things all the time, and those words have lost all fucking their meaning now because it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? For instance, at the moment, there's all the hoo-ha about you can't even say it over here because it gets blipped out of the fucking internet and shit. But all the grooming gangs that went on in the past, and it's still going on now. And then people, if you say something, say, look, this is the children, blah, 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 you're far right. That's the instant thing. And you think, hang on a second. Now, this is my take on it. Let's forget everything. It's young girls being systematically abused and sexually abused, and your response to that is to say the people who are talking about it are far right. That says more about your mentality as a human, that you would rather call me far right than say this is a fucking disgraceful episode in the British fucking history. That and when I see people put that, I screen grab stuff so I can come back later on eventually and say, you were one of those people. You're fucking disgusting. You'd rather have children fucking abused because you want your fucking political beliefs to be right. It's horrendous. That's why I don't put anything on Facebook or Twitter, because I just think my stuff is all about me enjoying my life, because I'm me. I have one go at this life and I'm going to fucking enjoy it. So when I talk about, because when I talk about things like that, I'll do it with yous, I'll do it in chats and stuff, because my life is too fucking short to waste it all on fucking believing what I think to be true. So that's why I fucking do all the things that I do. Just fucking
well,
they have to make the special effort to. By the way, you've just demonetized us on YouTube, John.
Oh, that's okay. Well, to make things just as bad, Trump then posted a small AI video of him and Obama in the Oval Office, or not the Oval Office, not the Oval Office, where they usually meet, the kind of dining room area where they usually meet with world leaders. And he has the FBI arresting Obama right in front of him. That was one video he posted on social. And then he posted an image, the Shady Bunch, which was based on the Brady Bunch, with all the bad actors in the square boxes that they're going to go after. So,
well, we'll see. I mean,
we'll see what happens, but there has to be consequences, or else it doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they released stuff, and it's just kind of like, oh, so they did, and it's like, yeah, no, we're not.
No, but there's more to come. There's more to come. Gabbard is doing such a great job. She released the MLK files the other day, like over 22,000 of them or something.
Oh, yeah.
And how it all ties in with JFK, with JFK's assassination and everything. I mean, some shady shit. You know the CIA were behind that.
I liked her when she was a Democrat. I'm like, if she had been like their candidate, I would have been hard pressed to choose because she's awesome.
And I think she will run for office again. I think she will run for presidency again. Maybe not in 2028. It'll be later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now she's. It's funny because like the way she became history's greatest villain and became kind of like independent, or she was kind of like that in between time between when she was a Democrat and then she just was like, oh, whatever, I'll sign up with Trump. She I saw the footage. I think she was being interviewed. She wasn't even like, she was still a Democrat, and she was being interviewed by Steven Crowder, and he was saying,
and she was one of the high ups in the Democrat Party too, because I think she ran through their committees. Yeah,
and she said that when she ran for president, or he was telling her when she was running for president, when she debated Kamala Harris, she was like number one on Google, like who is this chick? But you couldn't find, like, it wasn't on the first Google page. You had to like deep dive into the do 3 or 4 pages in to find her page on Google.
And they demonetized her too that time as well. At this very same time, you couldn't donate money to her.
Yeah, and he used the VPN to other countries, and he said then she comes up like right away on the first page. So, but what happened was, like, apparently Obama and Hillary Clinton wanted to bomb the shit out of Syria. So they sent her over there, and she did her own little investigative thing and came back and said, I remember the quote because she kept saying it to the press, the king of Syria is not our friend, but he's also not our biggest concern. So, you can have like a country that's, grinding their teeth and going like, fucking United States of America, but they're not going to lob bombs on you or send terrorists over. They're just like not your friend. So, and that's basically what you were saying. And the press was like talking over each other and trying to get her to say something
Hillary
different.
accused her of being a Russian spy.
Yeah, and that was why she became. And
they put her on the watch list.
Yeah, and she wasn't able to fly without having like agents on the plane with her and all that. So it's like, I
think that was a revenge move by Kamala Harris.
Yeah, basically I think that was before.
No, I think that was after the Biden one. Right. Biden rabbit ears.
Well, so now, what was it? Was it this thing or the Obama thing? So with the Russia hoax thing, she released that, and then like within a few hours, memes and posts are going around saying like, just Google the lies that Tulsi Gabbard just told and all that, and it's like, bro, I don't believe you anymore because like that whole
you've been wrong all along.
Well, to me, it's like the bombing the shit out of a foreign country should be the last thing. That's the last resort, and that's just like going back to martial arts. I'm not even like a martial. I'm like I had like when I was in high school or something. I had like a 3rd degree orange. We've seen
you with your nunchucks, Rossy.
I had like an orange belt, which is like 3rd up from the bottom of martial arts.
Was that when you put a belt in with your washing and it got coloured?
Yes.
Thank you.
It would have been a yellow belt, but I washed it with something red, so it was a little darker. Yes. So, anyway, yeah. So, but the thing I picked, the thing that they rammed into us, and the thing that you pick up is that's the, you know, using this is like the last thing you do, last resort. You know, find 100 different ways never pick a fight, and find 100 ways to avoid a fight.
Yeah, and I'll give you a good example of that, right? One of my dad's best friend, Mick Haw, he's passed away last 7-8 years. He was a black belt, and he was like ultimate black belt guy, right? But he had a really bad temper, and this was in the 60s or late 60s. He got into a fight with somebody, and he beat the shit out of him. Right, used all his karate moves or whatever, beat the shit out of a guy within an inch of his life. He was arrested, and the judge gave him jail time.
Ooh.
And the reason the judge gave him jail time was because he was a trained martial artist. He said, "Your hands are like weapons." And the guy,
oh my god, just like the old cartoon meme.
Yeah,
the old sitcom.
Yeah, your hands are like weapons. I said that other guy had no chance against you. And because you know that martial arts, you know that you have to have everything under control, and you need to have. But he had a very bad temper, so that's what led to it. So they put him in jail, and this is back when jail was jail. So one morning he got up one morning, and the jailer said to him, "I want you to move all that coal in the corner over there with a shovel to that corner over on your right." And so he did. So he moved the coal. Boom, 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 big, huge pile of coal. Then the warden, not the warden, the guy gave him a toothbrush and said, "No, I want you to clean where the coal was with a toothbrush." Right? And he cleaned where the coal was with a toothbrush. And when he finished that, the officer then said to him, "Now I want you to put the coal back."
Yeah, it was.
That's when jail was. That's jail, and he said, that taught him a massive lesson. But he had a very bad temper, McCaw. But he was definitely. You go into his house, you see all the trophies he won because he used to compete. He had a lot of trophies.
Right.
So.
An Irishman trying to avoid a fight because he knows martial arts is like, "Did you spill my pint?"
Well, the thing is, he was a small guy too, so he probably suffered from Napoleon syndrome.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, have you ever?
You know who
seen,
he looked like? He looked like James Cagney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you like White Heat so much.
He's a good guy. I loved Mr. Hall. I thought he was a great guy. But he he was younger, he had a very bad temper. I mean, there was one time, I'll tell you one more story about him. He was at the backyard with my dad, and my dad had pigeons. They're both pigeon men. They both like racing pigeons. And his son was out back, and his son was like, the mother spoiled the son. Robert was the kid's name. And he was complaining about his bike or blah, blah, blah. Mick Haw picked up a cinder block and threw it at his son and missed his son's head by 2 inches.
Oh, shit.
That's how bad his temper was. So,
damn.
Because his kid kept whining. If he had a contact with that kid's head, that kid was in like brain damage.
Stereotypes are funny because they're true.
Yeah. So anyway, go with your martial arts, Rossy, and your...
Yeah, well, no. Have you ever seen that movie Orgasmo?
Oh, years ago.
One by the South Park guys?
Yeah, years ago.
Okay. All right. So there was a guy who he was like the stunt coordinator or something like that. And he wasn't like actually picking fights with everybody, but he was like intimidating the crew and always using like excuses to show off his martial arts moves and everything. So like in the mid-90s, we were working on this pilot for it was basically a Silver Age Justice League ripoff called The Knights of Justice. It was based on the Big Bang comics. And the guy who played the Night Watchman was basically that guy. He was just every excuse to show off moves and stuff. He was going for it.
Mick Haw never showed off moves. I mean, he kept everything like that quiet. But we just knew that because, you know, he talked, but he wouldn't show moves.
Right.
He wasn't a flashy
guy.
No,
I know. It's two different things, but it's still like, you know, there's that. once you put all that time and effort into it, it's kind of like it's a lot to keep it held back. It's like you want to flex a little bit. So anyway, what else happened in Trump land? Just that. That's big enough.
Yeah, there's more files being released this week about how they subverted everything.
Okay.
So I think it will be the wheels of justice move slow, but I think there will be a couple of heads that will roll, a couple of sacrificial lambs.
We'll see.
Yeah, because they lied under oath. Comey and Brennan and all of they lied under oath. So yeah, and I don't think their pardon covers it. Whatever pardon Biden gave, and they're actually looking at those pardons too, because if he was enabled, if the President Autopen did it, and the aides aren't even talking about it, they're all pleading the fifth. So they all knew he wasn't capable of doing the job, or else they wouldn't be pleading the fifth. It might mean that even the Supreme Court justice he appointed might get taken off the Supreme Court.
See, the problem.
I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will happen, but that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, the problem with the auto pen thing is that we're in this time now where the specificity you have to be so specific about everything that if you get 2% of it wrong or 2% of it's not exactly right, then they feel fine just like discounting the whole thing. Even if it's like huge and something really needs to be done, it's like, nah, you got that 2% wrong. It's like filling in your tax form and like, you didn't use blue, you used blue ink instead of black ink or something.
Well, it's not that. So, this is bigger than that. The only reason you use an auto pen is when you're signing letters from children that want your autograph. Like the President of the United States would use it for that. But when it comes to bills or pardons, big stuff, don't use a fucking auto pen.
What my point is, if you say that he was incapable, it was done with auto pen because he was incapable of signing, then they can throw that out. But if you just say like the paper document, whatever, never even got in front of them, and there was like the aides or the people who had
they even admitted there was one woman that was signing them, that was using the auto pen. They come in and say, "Hey, sign these," and then like, okay, and she just assumed,
But it might be, it might not have been because he was incapable. It might have been just like, yeah, we want these signed, and we're not going to trouble Biden at all.
He didn't know about them. He didn't know about them. It's like Mike Johnson had a meeting with him over what was that gas company, LNG?
Right, but the point is that it's not because he was like, dribbling and completely senile at the time. It was because it was like, we just want these signed. We're not going to even put these in front of him.
Yeah.
Like he honestly might not have known.
Oh, no, he didn't know. He didn't know in that meeting.
Right.
When Speaker Johnson talked to him about this one thing, and Biden says, I didn't do that. He says, yeah, you did. You just did it like an hour ago. And Biden's like, no, I don't remember that. I didn't do that. I'm like, well, that's because
it might not
people
have been
are doing it for you.
Yeah, it might not have been senility that entered in the picture. It might have been just like
keeping them out of the loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the thing is, he ran as a moderate, and then he ruled as an extremist, and it can't have been him, because if you look at the history of his politics, even when it came to the border, he was all for closed borders. Now all of a sudden, everybody leaks it. Yeah, so it can't be him.
Even Tulsi was like, at the prior to running for office, he was fine. So, and then he took the jab, and then
it's nothing to do with the jab. He was
I know,
he was showing signs of dementia when he was running in 2020. That's why they kept him in the basement.
Yeah.
The pandemic was a gift to the Democrats because they could cheat in so many different ways.
Yeah. So,
anyways, talking about bad vibes. Did you hear about Jason Kingsley?
Yes, the nicest night in rock and roll.
Right, I'll give you a backstory. There's a woman called Kim McCaskill. She's a creative director in story leadership across AAA video games. Okay, and so this is what she wrote. We woke up one morning, saw a link, clicked it. I'm like, oh my god. So here's what she wrote about Jason Kingsley. I'm going to read it all because it's fun, and I'm going to emphasize the caps that she puts in as well. She writes, Thanks to everyone who messaged me yesterday. I felt the need to sleep on this before writing, but as it goes, I was going to have AI Amber Heard read this out, and I said, nah. I felt the need to sleep on this before writing, but as it goes, I'm just as disappointed today as I was yesterday. The long and short is, Jason Kingsley of Rebellion is an absolute stain on this industry and a massive problem for anyone who won't speak out. I had an incident that I'd been struggling to put into words, but I'm going to do my best here. As many of you know, Hook, 1991, by Steven Spielberg, was written by the incredible J.V. Hart, who also wrote Bram Stoker's Dracula, so he's responsible for that. Muppets, Treasure Island, Contact, etc. And I was given the opportunity to explore a way to make a video game out of Neverland. It was suggested to me that this might be something Jason would want to talk about, and so we set up a meeting, initially cancelled by Jason, and then rearranged for yesterday. The link was sent. I turned up, JV turned up, Jake turned up, no Jason. We had the attempt of him or someone joining, but he quit before I could even admit him, around 10 seconds. It seems Jason used a dated link, and hey, haven't we all been there? I decided to call him, which seemed a reasonable thing to do. The absolute venom and anger I got from this guy was unhinged. Not only did it take me aback, he hung up, and I decided to call back and record. Thank you, Scotland's first party of consent law, because I had to have it on record. Now, Jason has never encountered me or Jim or Jake, and his anger that we were not in the same room was absolutely blown out of proportion, that I could barely get in, that he had used the wrong link. The more I tried to reason, the more cruel he became. Like, I'm not kidding, this is the most insane, narcissistic conversation I've ever had with a person from this industry. It was all about how he had wasted his time. He could not accept that he joined the wrong room and continued to have a tantrum. It came down to him barking at me. So you're the one that wants something from me? So you want some money? You want me to buy your thing? You want a deal and you don't show up? This is Kingsley talking. He really wasn't taking anything I was saying in, and every question I said, no, we're at a conversation stage only for now. He then proceeded to go on about how he carved this time out for us and we had disrespected him. We were all there in the right room waiting for him, and I was at this point I had to ask if he knew who any of us were. He said no. He hung up on me 3 times as I tried to fix this. He then called me back, but at that point I was done. For the record, I have no stake in this. I'm a huge fan of Jim's work, and I wanted to do my best to connect Jake and Jim with game studios so they could potentially make something happen. Neverlands isn't my IP. I'm first and foremost a simple fan that's been trying to work out if this could be possible. We've had lovely meetings with Netflix, BBC, and others, and we have further meetings this week and next week. I'd just like to add, it's 8 a.m. and more than one person has contacted me about previous similar experience with this person. I just bloody knew it in my bones. So, this is how he treats people, Jason Kingsley.
Yes.
I mean, I wrote back to her. I wrote a comment to her, and I said, I'm just pulling it up now. I said, oh boy, I could tell you a few stories. This is the same Jason Kingsley that during the height of the pandemic complained on Facebook about taxes on a Spanish horse he was importing when people were confined to their homes and worried about where to get food because the shelves in the store were empty. And some of them were probably his own employees. Right? I didn't write that part, the employees. And she saw the comment, Kim McCaskill saw the comment and said, this is a new one, insane and new. Wow. Mm-hmm. So when we were working on the Dread animated short, I was contacting Jason. I was talking to him on Messenger, and I was sending him the character designs and some of the storyboards, and he loved it. He absolutely loved the progress on it, and he was we were having a good conversation. And then what must have happened is Muncher or one of them must have said, "Hey, they're the guys that do that podcast," and then nothing, blank, blocked, everything dropped. So that's the wrong way to do business. I mean, you can talk and we can have our disagreements, but I mean, it's obvious that Rebellion is a vanity project for him. When he set up the movie studios, total vanity project for him. Because here I am, I'm Sir Percival, and then we're going to be this, and I know it's a pandemic, but we're going to wear masks, and you're going to do it. I guarantee you, he's one of these people that spent a small fortune on putting up a studio, but then paid peanuts for the staff. And I guarantee you, morale around Rebellion is probably low, really low, because it's his plaything. I've come across a couple of rich people like that before, that were born into money or born into privilege, that have no fucking clue, and he's one of them. Absolutely one of them.
It's well, how long is he? Rebellion's had it for like 10 years or something like that, at least, right?
Yeah, they did.
I mean,
They did one movie, right? That was cost like $2 million or something, John. That
no,
school
not
movie.
not the studio. I mean, like they've
they're-
owned 2000 AD for like
Yeah.
over 10 years now,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
longer than that.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
longer than that. I
but
think they
if
bought the 20 after the
yeah,
after that.
it feels like the only mandate is, well, as long as you don't lose too much money, we're good. It's it doesn't feel like there's energy behind it. It just kind of like keeps chugging along, and eventually we'll dip in for your IP thing. I mean, the movie news is like the Dread movie news. It's funny because like the Rogue Trooper thing, I've talked to people.
We'll
who
talk
are in
about the Dread.
comics.
Talk about the Dread movie news.
Yeah,
Fill us in,
yeah,
Rossy,
I
if nobody's
know.
heard about it. If nobody's
That's
heard about it,
something.
what is it?
Well, the Rogue Trooper thing. I've talked to comic book fans, and it's like, hey, there's a Rogue Trooper movie in the works.
Yeah, but what was the Dread
It's-
news that came out during the week?
Oh, you know.
Yeah, but the fans mightn't know.
Oh, the news that Taika Waititi is interested in making a new Dread.
Dread, Love and Thunder.
Well, and it's funny. It's funny because like the double dose of gaslighting that goes on with certain people who are symbols of a certain kind of mindset, because people perceive him as being very far lefty, and people perceive Pedro Pascal as being very far lefty.
Oh, did you
Well,
see that?
when you say
there was a video put up. It's only like a minute long of somebody at the movie at a Cineplex, and she shows 3 movies coming out this month with Pedro Pascal, and I'm like, somebody needs to do an investigation why he's getting these movies.
they somebody kind of sort of did. I forgot whether it was Film Thread or some other YouTube channel, but like
3 of them.
when he was in Chile, like his dad was a doctor.
When he was
that
where?
He was his father, Pedro
When he
Pascal.
was where? What country?
Chile.
Chile.
Yes, he's from
Oh,
Chile.
okay.
He's from Chile, which is very close to Antarctica because it's so cold. Anyway, so his dad
John's
was
thinking of Chili Willy, the penguin.
was a doctor. Well, he was a doctor that had to do with reproductive health and for women, and apparently there was some kind of like scandals, and they had to get out of there. And Pedro Pascal isn't even his real name. I forgot what they said his real
You
name
mean
was.
scandals with a South American doctor?
Yeah, who knew? Who would have imagined such a thing? Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I did hear another podcast about Ira Levin, who wrote The Boys from Brazil, but they were mostly talking about Rosemary's Baby, and all the people connected with that and the making of it, it's like, holy shit. Anybody who tries to debunk the satanic Hollywood thing is out of their damn minds or part of it, because holy shit. So yes, and for those of you who aren't old enough, The Boys from Brazil, about Nazis having fled to South
Cloning
America.
Hitler.
Yeah. And she said that story was based on
And then
Simon
he became president in
Wiesenthal.
2016 and 2024.
Well, yeah. The Ira Levin's career, it's like she said that there was very little about him on the internet, but she dug up all this stuff, and that's another career that's like, where did this guy come from? How did he get to be how at such a very, very young age did he get like so many credits and get so many of these jobs? And then he wrote stuff that was like psyop material for, that kind of fucked with the American minds. And anyway, that's a whole other tangent and another rabbit hole for a conspiracy corner for another day. Having said that, though, Pedro Pascal is like, yeah, it's like you wonder like how he went from, not seeing his face in The Mandalorian to seeing his face every goddamn place.
Well, his breakthrough role was Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. So I missed. So
Yeah,
really,
and he
in
was really popular, really good in that.
that? Okay. So anyway,
And his death was spectacular. You remember that, John?
I do. Didn't he get his head crushed?
Yep.
Because he showed off. He didn't go in for the kill. He was basically doing the old, you did this to, and I'm going to fucking do this to you, you bastard, and all that shit. I think he got his legs swept from him.
Yep.
Okay, update, tragedy update. Hasbro's put a copyright strike on the Micronauts cartoon, so I will be lucky to get 2 episodes, which is fine because that's about all I'm going to be able to sit through from what I can see.
I'd say you'll probably be able to sit through 1, and that's it.
Yeah. You can scrub through. You can scrub through images, still images, as it's still on, or because I opened the browser in time to get it. You can still scrub through it on archive.org and just see still images, and it might as well be Ben 10. So
now that Tiki Watiki Taka or whatever is trying to do a Dread movie, you think Idris Elba will finally get his chance?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, so you say, like, oh, Taika Waititi, and this is going to be terrible. And you got these people who will defend. They're probably the same people who like She-Hulk and will say claimed that they liked She-Hulk and claimed that they liked
I like bits of She-Hulk.
Agenda-driven TV shows or agenda-driven media. And it's like, oh, I like that. It's like, that's fine. I don't know anybody who liked Thor: Love and Thunder, and everybody.
That was terrible.
Everybody has a right to their own taste and likes, of course, and there are people. I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, and I haven't seen What We Do in Shadows.
I have.
Yeah, and is there anything in there that indicates that this guy would be like a good Dread guy?
No, nothing at all.
The problem is that even Rebellion, even the writers who were working for the source material itself now have a hard time getting Dread right. And you've got this is more than
never mind Dread. Look at Rogue Trooper.
Well, okay, but they have a really just that whole. I know. Okay, you want to pick some nits, fine. Rogue Trooper is blue, but that whole white male testosterone-based action hero, hyper hero thing that's like the core of 2000 AD's brand.
Well,
they have a hard time with it, which is why almost all the characters.
Well, they can't read the room. Well, they can't read the room. It's something that you've said that stuck with me, and Dave's sister said it as well. It's like, is anybody really clamoring for another Dread movie? And the thing is, it's like you said, he's a fascist cop. He's the bad guy. Mm-hmm. Why would anybody go to the movie theater to see a fascist cop? And then I said it could be worse. They could be making a future Russia and Ukraine. Nobody wants to see a future war story. That's gone. You don't see kids play with soldiers anymore.
Oh, you couldn't do Savage because it's basically alien Russians.
Right. The only thing you could probably do would be ABC Warriors, Roadbusters, or take out the Vulcan War references for ABC Warriors. But you'd have the Roadbusters, which wouldn't make ABC Warriors. You could have them trying to tame Mars, right? The ABC Warriors, or Robo Hunter, Ace Garp. You can do those. Slain.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, you could pick some things, but it's it's 2025. They'll probably try to do Durham Red, or Tyranny Rex. I think that
Strontium Dog is ripe. Strontium Dog would be perfect.
Right. Yeah.
But they'd have to change it though. They'd have to make it American, not English.
I don't know. Well, yeah. I mean, they probably would have had to lean into the whole.
Same with
space western.
Yeah, same with Rogue Trooper. Rogue Trooper would make sense if he was American and not English.
Right.
Because the U.S. is usually the one that causes all the conflicts all around the world.
It's true. It's true. So, Well, we'll get into the movie I saw. I have a feeling John may have seen it too.
Well, hold on.
No. We'll get into it when we get into it.
Anyway, the Jason Kingsley thing. There was one person that was defending him, and I'm like, of course you're defending him because you're employed by.
Was it Ashley?
No, it wasn't Ashley. Because the person's employed by him. Let him lay you off, or you lose your job, or you leave. Just say you leave, and then you can tell the real story. Because you're always going to have. This. I don't doubt this person's experience with him. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
Ego has landed.
There was a.
Or maybe she caught him on a really bad day, but I doubt it. I say he has more these days than less.
There was a book that came out years ago that I don't remember if this was like an overview of.
Also, here's another thing, Rossy. Imagine being in charge of a technological company doing video games and you can't work a link.
True.
It's like Elon Musk not knowing how rockets work.
Well, that's possible. There was a book that came out years ago, and I don't know if it was about the whole thing or about a specific dynasty family. But the gist of it was that once they get to what you get these American, founders of industry, and then once they get into like the third generation of whatever it was, the companies that they started, the grandkids and great grandkids, if they're raised like in wealth, they're usually so removed from regular people and normality.
Yeah, that's true. They say that about immigrants.
Shit.
They say that about not just business, but about immigrants. If you come to the United States as a legal immigrant, work your ass off and build yourself up, and your kids, become spoiled, and it's your grandkids that are the ones that ruin everything because they're so.
Oh yeah, they're saying that about Asians. The first line of Asians come over and they're really hardworking and.
Oh, you saw in the Melendez brothers. Yeah. You saw the dad came over, worked his ass off. What was he, a record executive? And he's responsible for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on video or something. He did the thing, and his kids are fucking worthless.
Yeah, well, so there was that movie that came out. Don might know it. It's the movie that came out years ago with Steve Carell, and he's like the third generation of Procter and Gamble or something, and he makes friends with that wrestler guy. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No, that's a Steve Carell movie.
Yeah, they put a lot of makeup on him.
Oh, yeah. He was a coach, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like coaching this guy, and he was like
based on a true story. Channing Tatum was the wrestler.
Like, is he grooming him, or is he gay, or is he just weird? Or
it's just weird. Channing Tatum was I think Channing Tatum was the wrestler, right?
Yeah, and he was like the third generation Procter and Gamble.
Yeah.
So apparently, my only proof is like an old book that I didn't read in the movie that I did see, but it's like, but I think if you look for it, there is evidence that is a thing that the.
Oh yeah, I think it is.
So is Kingsley? Is he?
He's a knight of the realm.
Well, yeah. Is he first generation, or did he make, or is he?
Well, I think he came from money.
Son.
I think he came from money, didn't he, John?
Oh, no idea.
There's no way he didn't with his education and the way he's posh. His family had money.
Okay.
Let me do a Mr. Roster.
He started the computer thing with his brother, so I think he either took a loan out or he got something from his parents. That's the only two ways you could have done it.
Well, at that time, I think in the early 2000s or late 90s, people were big into retro. I worked for a company that some English company got in touch with because they had the rights to some of the old school retro games that they're going to put them on your cell phone. And this is before smartphones.
Mm-hmm.
Like Snake. Remember Snake?
I was never really a game guy, so...
Do you remember when companies would sell you stuff to put on your phone? Not games, but little images and shit as your screensavers and stuff. think, fuck me, they made a fortune out of idiots, didn't they? How many did you buy, Rossy?
Buy of what again?
Oh, don't worry, we've moved on.
Okay.
Rossy still has those screensavers on his phone.
It wouldn't surprise me because he's probably got the same phone.
No, this one's all, well, I may have it, but I just don't use it. So, because you never know. I mean, if the 5G burns out the phone I'm using now, I can use the one that doesn't even.
When you said
5G.
5G burns out, and then the next thing I thought you were going to say was everyone's minds.
Well, there's that. That's happening slowly, but there's no evidence. Everybody's favorite 2 words: no evidence that that's happening.
Well, I don't know who Jason's parents are, but there are sources that mention his upbringing in Leicestershire and his childhood interest in horses, noting that he persuaded his parents to buy him a pony at the age of 8. So his parents had money.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there was. We went to go see this. I was at some book trade show, and there was this kids' book author who wrote novels for young adults who was really popular at the time. And she was telling a story that was meant to be inspirational, but it was a little out of touch, where she was trying to convince her parents to buy her a pony, but they were like, no, we need to, we don't have a place to put it. And so she helped build a corral. She was like 9 or 10 or something like that. So she helped build the corral that they were going to put it in. So they bought her the pony and all this. I'm like leaning over to the other bookseller I'm with going like, this person was not born into poverty or whatever, whatever she's making off the book royalties has got to be like, chump change compared to what she already had going in. And same time kind of story with Taylor Swift. It's like they don't count her as a Nepo baby because you've never heard of her parents, but like her dad was a producer, and like all the kids, there's like a half dozen kids books about her now. And I'm flipping through just looking at the pictures, and it's like she had a pony when she was younger, and
well,
they gave her singing lessons.
Well, so Jason went to St. John's College in Oxford, and St. John's is the wealthiest college in Oxford with assets worth over 790 million.
Is that where they make their Illuminati connections?
That's where they go. That's where they go, and they all bum each other, so that they're all fucking can't talk about each other doing anything bad.
Oh, God. We're going to get sued for libel. Here's the thing.
Hang on. It's well renowned that loads of young men who go to college and university all end up fucking getting shagged up the arse. I've watched all the movies.
Yeah, well, what does a pig's head feel like on your cock? I would like to know. Tell me.
The list of one of the people that is on the list of honorary fellows at St. John's College is Tony Blair.
There you go.
Of course it is.
So he obviously for that education he obviously came from money. Yeah, like I said, all the stuff I've read what was posted about Jason on LinkedIn from my own experience. So there you go. And this is just our opinions.
So how many episodes did the show did you get up on YouTube before we were banned? And
just one. We did get a copyright strike over the movie music, the Dennis thing, because that's copyrighted. But they took it out. But there's a thing in YouTube that if they see a copyright strike, they'll let you know about it, and they can splice it for you and get rid of it.
I got a lot of copyright claims, so none of my stuff's monetized. So I think there's like copyrighted music all over the Drocking Around video. So it's full of copyright claims, but it's like I think the people who own it are making 0.01 cents off of it. So hopefully, I would rather have that because I don't care about the money to begin with than have it butchered like there's this big black hole of no sound where stuff's happening and that kind of thing. So anyway, where were we? What corner are we in now?
Well, we can do Kickstarter corner, Rossy.
Okay. So I finally got off my ass and took pictures of not just the Kickstarters, but of a lot of things that have been that I've received in the mail, which I'm going to count as Kickstarters. So you've probably seen like a lot of shill posts for Andrew Sawyer's art book. I've got a lot of pictures of Ben Dunn's Kickstarters ready to go. And Robin Grenville Evans, I took pictures of the old Venice planet and the new Venice planets.
They look better, don't they?
Yeah, well, you can see them side by side, but they both are fine. I mean, the black and white version was, as far as like an underground looking comic, is very dense and looked like old 2000 AD. You know, like how the old British comics, they would have, you know, people to this day, I still lame. To this day, people get on my ass about, oh, your guinea pig story for lulz has too many panels. It's like, have you seen?
So I'm not the only one.
Yes. Have you seen? Apparently, Chris the Super Surfer showed it to Alec Worley, and he said, yeah, there's a lot of panels and dialogue in this thing.
Well, that's because Alec would have went in and silhouetted everything.
Right. So, well, no, that wasn't. He's not the artist.
Oh, so, yeah, Alec Worley's a writer.
Right.
I think of Ben Wilshire. And Alec is probably right. But the thing is, that was back then, though, Rossy. We live in 2025.
Yeah, well, I mean, have you seen an issue of Valiant or Eagle or whatever?
Yeah, they crammed it as much as possible.
Routinely put 9 to 12 panels per page. And those are the stories you remembered because there was a lot going on. They were actual stories. It's impossible to tell a story anybody's going to remember in 5 panels with like 25 words. It's like that is, at best, that's a gag strip. So there's no, but those were like full-on stories with beginnings, middles, and ends, which is what I was trying to do. And that's what Robin tried to do. He tried to cram a lot in on those black and white Venice plants, and they looked like old issues of Eagle, Valiant, and whatever. But the new color ones are amazing looking, and you see them side by side. It's like night and day. And he's working on the 3rd volume. So he's so English and such a gentleman that he doesn't like to he doesn't like to shill very much. So it's kind of like, oh, please excuse me for popping my head above the crowd to say that I've got something worth looking at, but I do have Venice 3 in the works, and here's a video of me working on it. And it's like, bro, just say that I got this thing and it's awesome.
He needs to hook up with David Broughton.
Yeah.
David knows how to promote himself. David really does know how to promote himself.
Dave smears himself all over the place, but even then, like I've got some shill posts for Dave too, because he shows the same stuff over and over again. He just shows covers and all that. And I went through like that last issue of Shaman Kane and took pictures of like the really cool pages and pages that had some really cool panels. Because we've all learned, like you can have the most bitchin' cover artist in the world, and then you look at the inside and it's shit. And it's like, no, if you like the cover,
Dave is consistently good though.
Right. So you have to prove that. It's like Dave's got this great cover, and he doesn't slack off on the inside. So that was kind of my thesis for him. And same thing with Venice Planet. It's like, okay, so the covers look good, but I don't know what the story's like. I don't know, the pictures I took, it's like, okay, I get it. It's like Barbarella level cheesecake with Flash Gordon kind of action, and he's very obviously a Star Crash fan, so there's a lot of there's a lot of that kind of would look, a lot of Venice Planet would look at home like if they made an actual Star Crash 2. So but so I have a lot of Kickstarter shill posts that I'm going to try to get up over the next few weeks. But like I said, I've dialed back on what I'm backing, and right now I'm just getting everything's showing up. I think the 77 said that number 11's on its way. The files are ready and on their way. The only thing I got in the mail that was big was like an idiot, I bought the $150 or $125 hardcover of all 3 volumes of the Micronauts. And now you can get them as Epic editions for $50, but they're paperbacks. So I was like, all right, I'll get those too.
Oh my God.
And then I'm done. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I've been getting my comics from that Lone Star or mycomicshop.com, and it's you're essentially pre-ordering it for 35% off. You can pre-order off the Diamond catalog, the online Diamond connected to it, and Antarctic Press is no longer with Diamond, nor is AC Comics. Nor is a lot of the indies that I would get my stuff from. So I guess I'm kind of done with them. And I still have some credit. They canceled some stuff I got. It was like the tail end of the last few things I pre-ordered that I'm not going to get. So I'm going to see if I can move that pre-order credit over to Micronauts Volume 2 and I have some shipping credit money from them too. So just clean out my account with them and basically clean out the desk.
Because Diamond they're going away, right? They're on their last legs.
Yeah, and whatever part of Diamond still remains, like if it's the games or toys or whatever, that's not really what I'm interested in. So,
right.
Yeah, everybody's gone to another. Like AP actually has like 3 distributors now, so.
Which is good. As far as Kickstarter goes, I think I'll relaunch Thugs again in September. I'm going to lower the cost of the comic down a bit to bare bones, and also to sort out the shipping, try and get it going again. So, because that's a really good. I'm really surprised that it didn't hit the target.
Yeah, that was
because I thought Al had more followers. Number one, the curse of Al. And then
no, it was just the price and the timing. And everybody we know, it's like Ben was saying low key that some of his Kickstarters have been struggling.
Yeah, I saw that the last Tomorrow Girl he did. It did okay, but not as good as I think he wanted it to.
Well, part of that's because it's on Indiegogo too. So if it was on Kickstarter, I
think it was a Kickstarter link he had.
It might have been the last Kickstarter link he got away with, but it's had to be all Indiegogo all the time. So the thing is, though, he all of his stuff meets, finger quotes, meets the goal, but then there's like the real goal of, how profitable is it above that, and some of them struggle. I haven't spoken directly about that, but I think I know which ones since I back everything he does.
Right.
And even I'm moving over to digital for his stuff because I've seen the pie. Once you pay for the shipping is like ridiculous. It's like twice if he sent it first class mail, that shipping cost directly from the post office is much lower than the shipping fee that they tag on to that Kickstarter puts onto it. And then once you look at the diagram of printing and everything else.
Well, you set the mailing costs. That's not Kickstarter does that. You do that.
Oh, okay. Well, nevertheless, he's probably covering for like the whole country, but like for him to ship it to me directly in California is probably less than New York or whatever.
Right. But you have to calculate that in there somehow.
Right. It's probably the evened out cost.
Right.
Yeah.
So, for example, I took a bit of a loss in White Heat too because we did posters and everything, and sending those down to Mexico or Argentina or Australia add into some of the profit that I made, or any profit that I made. I mean, I had enough to pay people, and had enough for myself, a little bit for myself. But it's just like grief. I'm not going to do that again. I'm just going to just sell the comic book as is. So for Thugs, the difference with Thugs is that I don't think I put White Heat up on Amazon. I'll put Caretaker's Tales up on Amazon, so you can buy them on Amazon. And the printing is actually really good, just as good as the Kickstarter that I did.
How is White Heat doing? Or is that
it's sold 3 copies in the last 3 months, once a month. But
the Midas stars, and it's tracking alongside the Midas star.
Well, I'll have to promote the Midas star again on the website. I said I'd do that for you, and I'll put a little link on the right hand side. But
thanks,
the thing is, it's everybody's publishing now, so it's hard to get seen in the crowd.
Right.
And
whether you know it or not, your White Heat has been canvassed in a lot of the indie comic groups and pulp groups. So.
Yeah, but it's not translating to anything.
No, that's the thing.
That's the problem. Right.
And
I was listening to Chuck Dixon, that's his name. He's got his own he does his own little show on YouTube.
Alt-right.
Yeah. Well, he bragged that he's written more comic books than anybody else in history, and I'm like, Pat Mills and John Wagner have been writing since the fucking 60s.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. But
Maybe.
he said that even though he's an established writer and he's written tons of stuff, it's hard for him to move the needle on anything. It's like 10 years ago maybe, but now because there's so many different things out there, it's hard. And he said because of, and he blames AI, people are slapping books together in AI and putting them up there. It's just taking them like a day to write a book because they're doing it all with AI, and they slap their name on it and put it up. So it's really hard for anybody to get noticed in the marketplace. Well, when the Kindle first came out, I think he was talking about Stephanie Meyer. She's the one that did the Twilight series. The part of the reason her books took off so well is because it was one of the first ones on Kindle.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but then when everybody jumped on it, it becomes like then you're fighting against the crowd to get your stuff noticed. But I will. Go ahead.
One's a quality thing and one's a format thing. So like if you're putting out a lot of the AI stuff is slop, and so if you're putting out slop, you're gonna get a reputation for putting out slop. And
that's no different than the pulp writers. They were churning out slop.
Well, if people, not everything those guys wrote at 100 miles an hour, not everything they wrote was going to be great, but a lot of it was. And if you're one of those guys, if there's a huge demand for your slop like that, like the mythical animal porn on Amazon, there's I married a werewolf, or I married a minotaur, I was in a Minotaur gangbang type story.
That sounds like a Kickstarter title. Big titty guts.
Well, the reason that it sounds like a Kickstarter thing is it's so huge on Amazon that it's spilled over. It's shocking, the audience that exists for that, and how much and how you can't write it fast enough. So that sort of thing, yeah. But like the kind of thing we wrote, it's like, oh, you guys are still doing pulp stories from decades ago. The audience for that is basically us and our friends. So, it's tough. It's tough. It is tougher. And
well, I'm going to remedy that. The next Kyla story will have her fighting big titty guts. I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, I mean, for us, it's like the subject matter, the vibe, the quality, the genre, and all that. It's kind of like there's some things that I feel have just finally played out, and no matter how good your version of it is now in 2025, it's going to play to, an ever diminishing audience. But, so Chuck Dixon is a little wrong there. The Kindle, I think that it's done. I mean, I hate to praise anything coming out of Amazon, but, e-readers in general will say it's like, that includes the Kobo, if anybody remembers that.
The Kindle is still going pretty strong, though.
Yeah, and it's really expanded the audience it's actually expanded the audience for our kind of stuff too. Because I remember like the Kobo and the Kindle and the Nook came out around the same time as like the new pulp movement, and there was like there were 3 or 4 new pulp publishers that were focused on doing ebooks. So they lasted a few years and it came and went. But again, I read a lot of those stories, and a lot of them just frankly either weren't very good or bad imitations of, it's like along with the new pulp, you could get the old pulp, PDFs of the old pulp, cheap and easy or free. So it's like, well, I can actually read The Shadow. I don't have to buy those $10 paperbacks at a collectible show. I can get a whole run of The Shadow and read those as PDFs on my e-reader, or I can read this new guy's thing, which is a copy of that sort of thing. Very few of them would try to do anything new or different. They tried to do like a black pulp it's like, what if there was a black Tarzan was one of the things.
Oh, God. You mean a black Tarzan acting like an ape in the jungle?
Well, they got a black writer to write.
Oh, okay. I'm like, God damn, like read the room, dude.
Yeah, well, a lot of the writers were white on black pulp, but it's like, what if there was a black Indiana Jones type character? What if there was a lot? But the problem was, it was just basically the same tropes. Right. With a black guy, So, and there was an Asian pulp too.
At least with Kirby and Lee, they created a Black Panther, something completely new.
Right, but how many decades ago was that?
Yeah,
it's like so.
And Jack didn't give a shit about the political stuff either, because I remember we talked about it before, how Don McGregor took over and he put all this political stuff in there and everything else. And then when Kirby came back to Marvel in the 70s, he said, fuck that shit. You had Black Panther fight aliens and all this technology. All the politics went out of it. It's just like a fun adventure story.
Right. And, you want to talk about somebody who tended to overwrite things. It's like...
I think Chris Claremont came from the same school.
I point to he's like, you think I overwrite anything? I point to those guys, but a lot of the stuff they wrote is still considered classics to this day. I mean, again, you read those stories. There were a lot of words, but in addition to the pictures on the page,
I don't know any kid that would read Don McGregor's Black Panther run.
Not now, no. But
even X-Men, they probably look at John Byrne's artwork and love it, but just to read all that stuff in X-Men as well, probably not either.
But it was good enough to make a whole bunch of movies based on those stories. Yeah, so I mean. Yeah, it was a different. It was a type of. I thought about this long and hard. It was a type of writing that was kind of like a weird. It wasn't just comic books. It was like a weird hybrid of novel and.
Well, everything changes. How comics are written and how they're perceived. It all changes. You can't, like, if you're a kid in the '60s, there's no way you're reading stuff from the 1930s, because it's like oh my God. Because of the way of storytelling and everything changes. And if you're in the 90s, you're not going to read stuff in the 70s. It's just, well, you might. But, I mean, just things change. And so comic books today, the way they're written and the way people read them is different than what they read 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Well, I think that style from the 70s, that style from the 70s had good points and bad points.
Right. Well, everything does, right?
Well, no, I mean, you've heard about I heard about the Golden Age stories for a while, and I for whatever reason I never really picked them up when AC Comics was when they were still reprinting them. Now I'll pick up like the back issues if I see them, but it wasn't until a lot of that stuff went in the public domain and I had easy access to it, and you could download them for free off those archive sites.
I like reading them back then, like the stuff from the 30s and 40s. Because they were slinging shit at a wall to see what would stick. Right,
and that's really the only reason why a lot of them are interesting, though.
Like too. I sent you that one about the female wrestler, right? And her managers,
right?
Like, and that's from the 1940s. You could do something like that today, and it would probably sell really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea, but it's like, the dialogue is terrible, and there's misspellings, and the lettering is all over the place,
and the racism, the rampant racism.
There's rampant racism. There's a lot of stuff, but even even it's like Monty Python, even without the racism and the misspellings and the lettering that's all over the place,
and the bad anatomy,
and the poor anatomy, and the inconsistent character
and
designs.
the terrible paper was printed on.
Even without those things, it was you really like I can appreciate something from that time period if I'm in the mood and if I'm in the mindset and you're like studying it for historical purposes. But like even if I was in my 20s and full of beans, and I would still read old stuff, but it wasn't like I feel like I have to read every issue of Phantom Lady now because I'm a fan. So like the stuff from the 70s and 80s, I would put that up. Like when people say, oh, comics are trash, blah, 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 I would say that stuff holds up. Like if they would hold up in an argument against a librarian or somebody who was poo-pooing comics as literature, because the amount of and they were not
what you do, you just throw her a couple of issues of The Spirit by Will Eisner, and then she'll change her mind, or he will change his mind.
Well, not even that. Like a Chris Claremont comic from that period of time, or a Bill Mantlo comic from that period. There was a lot of reading you had to do. There was the story. The writers didn't, as long as they didn't use bad words, have a lot of sex, or wasn't overly violent, they didn't care if that story was for kids or not. It was kind of like they had rules that they had to follow as far as like, okay, there's got to be action every few pages, and the superhero has to be like the main character and show up in most of the story, and and some of that stuff has gone so far out the window because they write for the trade. It's like there was like a whole run of She-Hulk where she wasn't even like She-Hulk for a few issues. So, because it doesn't matter, because once you buy that trade, it's like, okay, there's a bunch of pages where she's not She-Hulk, but in this trade she becomes She-Hulk eventually, but it's like month by month, it's like 3 issues in. So anyway,
that's why the monthly floppy we talked about before, I think, is gone on its way out. But anyway, no,
I think it's still around. I think it'll stay around. It'll just be the most mainstream of the mainstream are going to be the only ones around.
Right.
So
anyway,
Batman, Spider-Man, whatever.
Back to Kickstarter. So I'm planning on relaunching Thugs maybe in September and see if we can get a lift off on it. I'll lower the goal to like $1,000 or $800 or something to see if we can reach it.
Mm-hmm.
So television and movies. What have you watched?
John?
Crickets.
Nothing.
You haven't seen anything?
He's been out rocking and rolling.
No, he's been rocking. Okay, so I'll do television movies real fast, because I think one of them John might have seen, but we'll put that to the punch. So again, there's a lot of crossover between this one and the other live stream we did. There's a movie from 1978 called Circle of Iron, also called The Silent Flute, that stars
David Carradine.
Stars David Carradine, and Roddy McDowall has a cameo at the beginning, and Christopher Lee has a cameo at the end. And I saw this movie a couple of times in the theater when it first came out. I was probably about 12, and I thought it was fucking awesome. I
just remember it. I just remember that movie from one guy being in a cauldron. That was it.
Yeah, that was Eli Wallach. It was a very Mel Brooksian type. One of the things that we discussed at length was how weird that scene was and out of place it was for the rest of the movie, because it was just played like something out of a Mel Brooks movie. And I freaking loved that movie when I was a kid. because it was 1978, so Conan the Barbarian hadn't even been made yet. So that also means none of the Conan ripoffs. Roger Corman hadn't gone to Argentina to make all the Deathstalker and Barbarian Queen movies and all that stuff. So it was a very unique proto, and there's a very short line you could draw between this movie and Your, but the Your movie hadn't even been made yet, nor had the miniseries, but the comic book, and I doubt anybody had read the Your comic book from Argentina when this movie was made, but just the similar themes and similar imagery, similar everything. So it's kind of watching. So I watched it a couple of times when I was a kid. I watched it when it came out on DVD from Blue Underground, liked it again, and then I was excited to see, like, I think the Blu-ray copy was made available. Yeah, and so they said it was on Tubi. So, but it's one of those other things where, like with the Burroughs books, it's like I saw it years ago. I was convinced it was the greatest thing ever. Since then, I've seen some negative reviews and heard some people talking shit about it on YouTube, and it's not as fondly remembered by everyone else as by me, but it's not as fondly remembered by people who have seen it, like, after they were born, after the Conan movies were made, and they're coming to it, like, out of context from the time period and a lot of other things. And they're pissed. These are the people who are pissed off that David Carradine, like, finger quotes, stole Kung Fu from Bruce Lee and then stole this movie from Bruce Lee because it was made after Bruce Lee died. So I was kind of like, I was like, oh man, I hope this movie stands up. And it's like I'm watching it now after hearing, more nuanced reviews and reading negative things about it. And I was like, yeah, the fights aren't that great, and the acting isn't always the best, and there's this huge amount of cheese.
Especially when he picks
up. But I fucking love this movie.
Especially when he picks up the ceramic rose and starts screaming and smashes it on the ground. That was the scene where she's crucified. Yeah, at the end. They have the
yeah.
That looks so cheesy.
It looks so cheesy, and I was like buying everything they were selling me in this movie. So the guys on the other thing, again, they're like on average about 10 years younger than me, and only three of them saw it for the first time for this thing. So like within the last couple of weeks, and the one guy saw it, I think, when it came out on DVD, which was like 10 plus years ago. So I'm the only one who saw it in the theater when it came out. And I was like, when I was 12 years old, and this movie follows, it's not a Roger Corman movie, but it follows the exploitation movie rules where, like, every 10 minutes, something cool has to happen. So there's going to be a fight. There's going to be boobs. There's going to be, something that makes you go, what? And so even though it's slow moving by today's standards, it was like, it kept the ball rolling, and sometimes the Bruce Lee philosophy that he was trying to impart suffers because the messages may have been a little mixed because it needed to have a fight there, or it needed to have boobs, or it needed to have something. It kind of diluted the message. Having said all those things, everybody loved it, and we talk. So sometimes, like with what we do here, we get way off topic because there's the subject matter we're talking about is not really that interesting, but something else comes along. We kept on topic for 2.5 hours about this 90-minute movie from 1978 because we were like, well, what it would have been like if Bruce Lee had made it? It might not have been that good, and Bruce Lee might have been awesome in it, but if they didn't have this director and that, just so Circle of Iron or The Silent Flute or whatever it is listed on Tubi, it may not hold up well for you, but my memories of it were just reinforced, and it was such a pleasure to talk about it for 2.5 hours. Because there have been some of the movie, like Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy was such a mess, and it was kind of like an unpleasant movie to sit through. This was just wonderful. And the other movie, I'm going to ask John if he might have seen prior to his rock and roll week, was Heads of State which is a made-for Amazon movie.
That John Cena
John Cena and Idris Elba.
as Prime
I'm
Minister
aware
and
that-
President. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They crash in the jungle or some shit like that, don't they?
And Priyanka Chopra.
Oh God, that would be terrible then.
So I saw. Well, I mean, there's some girl bossery in her fight at the end. So
Of course there is.
yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that.
So I've seen stupider movies in my life, but
Well, we know that.
this is pretty goddamn stupid. It looks like a theatrical film, except for it doesn't. And there are some scenes I'm pretty convinced they must have used AI, like for some of the crowd scenes and some of the finger quote sets. They look like they might have been green screened, and then there's like they added an AI background to it. Because it does look like an expensive theatrical film, but it looks like one of those expensive quasi-theatrical films that they have on Netflix, like the Liam Hemsworth ones, where he's like a soldier and does fighting stuff. And I think the second one, Jason Statham was in it. Anyway, it looks like one of those. And then the comedy gets like really goofy. I mean, I get that there's going to be banter and it's cut from the same cloth as the later Fast and Furious movies, but it just gets a little way over the top. And then there's like death. There are a lot of deaths in it, and they're played as Roadrunner slapstick, but it's like that's a rough way to go, you know.
Now I might want to see it.
There's worse. And the thing is, it's short, so there's worse ways to spend your life. 90 minutes of your life. Priyanka Chopra is gorgeous, but it really bothers me because I've seen her before she had all the plastic surgeries, and she was so gorgeous, especially with her old nose. And now she's got this
Her
like
old nose.
Yeah, I mean now like her American nose is like it's gotten smaller since I think she's had more work done since there's like the way she looked in the Indian movies, and then there's the way she looked on what was that show where she was like on the CIA, like the agent. It was like the agent Langley, I think it was called. And then there's like the nose she's had in the last few years since she got married. And so and that girl works hard. I mean, I think she's pushing 40 or possibly in her early 40s, still looks great. And, she's one of those actresses, 98-pound actresses that trains for every fight scene she does. She's not a martial artist by trade, but she trains for that one scene she does and looks convincing, but that there's no way, But having said all those things, it's a propaganda piece because they're trying to save NATO in this movie. There's like the banter between the two guys. They hate each other. It's a buddy movie. Blah 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 blah. Trade quips and insults until they don't. But midway through the movie, it comes out like, oh, the villain wants to destroy NATO. Now, NATO is responsible for a lot of the shit that's going on in the Ukraine. And there's a debatable, it's debatable whether we still need it or maybe it needs to be reformed. It's pretty corrupt. And they bring that up in the movie and then quickly hand wave it away and say like, oh yeah, well, there's all this infighting and one country's fucked all these countries in NATO have fucked each other over. And it's hand waved away literally with like yes, but we need a NATO to keep the things would just basically they say things would be far worse if we didn't have NATO. And so the rest of the movie is people fighting and dying to keep NATO intact. And it's this massive propaganda piece for NATO. And so I'm kind of like, wow. And that's why people hate movies now or can't be bothered with movies now, because it's like so obvious that that's what this is. And they're trying to keep it fun and jovial and and banter and whatnot. So, go. If you like the two guys, I think John Cena would actually be a good Judge Dredd if they make the Taika Waititi movie version.
Nah,
but
he comes across as too goofy now.
well, it's the Taika Waititi Dredd.
It would be good for the Chinese market.
Oh yeah.
John China.
He could refilm the all his own scenes using they won't have to dub them in. And I believe that's my movies.
Wow.
All right. Well, I don't have any movies.
We should do the Prog, and then John can go on for as long until I have to leave about his rock thing.
No, it's not. It's
What?
not acceptable. I'm not going to talk about it until next week now.
What?
Well, you're not going to listen to it, are you, when the broadcaster goes live? So there's no point talking about it.
No, because now I can listen to it on YouTube. I don't have to download it into my iPod and then fast forward to the
He's
part.
a lazy bugger, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I can only download so much. In fact, I think Hasbro's completely choked out my download of the Micronauts.
Well, I took a quick look at some of that Micronaut stuff, Rossy. Some of the designs look terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't Micronauts, it'd be okay. But it looks like Ben 10 and a million other kids shows
it looks
like
very
it.
generic.
So
what do you want to do? You want to talk about your adventures, John, or?
No, we'll do the Prog.
Well, we can do that quickly because I do want to hear as much of it as I can.
Oh, John's not going to do that quickly. He's going to take his time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just do it at the end and take your time.
All right, John.
Let's rock and roll.
Pew, pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble, Grub.
Prog 2441. We have a cover by Colin McNeil. Break it and I'll find you, creeps. It's okay.
It's another Dread sitting on the toilet like the one John modeled for.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's good. the law, I don't know. It doesn't stand out enough for me, but it's a good cover, though.
I like it.
The 2000AD is completely covered.
And they've got spent cases on the floor where he's obviously Dread flies at the ground in front of his seat now, so it doesn't make sense. But it's a nice image.
It's a callback to the one where John's sitting on the toilet and the one with the Mick McMahon one where he's got like the.
This is the Dread look at my crotch shot.
Oh yeah, he's not wearing a cod piece.
No,
it's not like the Stallone thing.
Judge Dredd Tunnels Part 3. Rob Williams, R.M. Guerra, Julia Briscoe, and Simon Boland.
The ex-Wally Squad judge easily escapes on a lawmaster from the sector house, while Total War helps out by hacking into said sector house's security systems. There you have it.
Why isn't Dredd's face completely ripped off as he goes underneath that moped? His face is like up against the ground, being like as it's going. His face will be completely ripped off.
Everything about this story is just what it reminds me of is, in a very bad way, is when Aliens was getting made, and the director asked military experts, "How would you do this?" And then he could then take all of the things away and make it impossible to do certain things. So therefore, the tanks, right? You can't use projectile rounds because they might explode that. So it was making it harder for the assault onto the aliens. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this, it's just like, well, hang on a second. So we had nearly 50 years of Dread, and we've got how easy is it to hack into a sector house after all the things that have gone historically through all the stories we've read where things have happened, and then they, like his eyes. I'm surprised they didn't hack into his non-hackable eyes. So he's made non-hackable eyes so Dredd's eyes are okay. But the sector house, fucking hell, anyone can hack into that fucking thing. And if people say, yes, John, but he's an ex-Wally Squad judge. Well, let me tell you what happens in the modern day stuff in the military. If you're fucking captured, let me tell you this, all the shit that you would have known would be changed. So all them things, unless they were happening straight away because they wouldn't get the information out of you. Even in World War II, they were told, things will alter. So after 5 years of him being dead, how the fuck would he be, if in the next couple of progs we get told he was able to give them information, that information would be null and void. There'd be nothing to pass on because all the security clearances would have altered. All the things, to block anything out in case he'd been captured and forced to tell stuff. So that doesn't work about them breaking into it. Mm-hmm. When they do the interference on the feedbacks on the comms, somehow doesn't really affect Dredd that much. Just keeps going. This is my big bugbear with Dredd, is every other judge is shit constantly, and I'm sick of it. All they had to do, how the fuck they again?
Shouldn't the Lawmaster have an override on it?
Yeah, the Lawmaster have an override. All they had to do was take their fucking helmets off, and it was instantly done. But no, they all fannied about. A couple tried to get them off. That was rubbish. Yeah, as you said, the Lawmaster should have had an override switch instantly. Inside that sector house, they would have went, right, that's been fucking taken. Press that button, it's gone. All these things that they'll think, the writers will think of other things to make it futuristic-y, but the basic stuff of protecting your kid is just terrible. And as you said, when Dredd went under the vehicle on the road and his face got ripped to pieces,
his whole head would come off.
Yeah, that speed and all that. And yet, again, this is another one of those things in the movies, is when a baddie takes off in a car or a bike and they're fucking screaming away, the goodie takes off in a car and a bike, catches them up, but then hangs behind them at a distance. And I'm thinking, hang on a second, what speed did you use to catch them up, but now you can't actually get level with them? You know what I mean? Ah! And this is what I get from this, because you get Dredd catch him up and just sit behind him for ages. And I'm like, oh, hang on, where's your bike cannon? Where's all this? It's just, okay, it looks all nice with all the action stuff, but everything's illogical.
Yeah, there is a funny panel on page 3, the bottom left-hand panel, where the alarm is going off, or the sonic sound is going off, and Dredd is holding his hand up to his helmet as if he's covered in his ear.
Yes, right.
Doesn't that look as though he's got his hand in his mouth?
Yeah, it's not. He's supposed to have it up to his ear because of the noise, but you wouldn't you take your helmet off, like you said, and you put your hand up.
Yeah.
So the artwork was excellent.
Yeah, I love the artwork.
It really captured the high octane action. Yeah. And part of the problem with some of these Rob Williams stories is when he tries to do the high octane action, like logic goes right out the window. So they were able to hack into a Lawmaster motorcycle without it exploding. And somehow if you hack into the Lawmaster motorcycle, you can hack into the entire sector house sound system and cause the helmet thing to go like super loud. So and then again we have the Dredd as psychopath thing, because like you said, if it was a choice between using a bike cannon and blowing up the one motorcycle and what actually happens in the story, he causes way more deaths than he solves by, and which we get to see on
Team America, the start of Team America.
Yeah, but this is like a Rob Williams thing, it's like Dredd's easily distracted, like last issue, he's easily distracted and just strolls out of the building when he sees somebody he thinks he recognizes, which I get it. It's like, okay, I need to get Dredd out of the building and this is how I did it, but it's like a dumb way of doing it. And then here it's kind of like, instead of he needs to get in this huge accident, but it's like the dumbest way of doing it. That's like A, out of character, and B, causing more. I guess the point is when he writes these that Dredd causes more destruction than it's worth, but that's like against. I mean, Dredd, the judges and Judge Dredd. There's always like been huge catastrophes and huge accidents and huge amounts of violence and disasters and whatnot. But it's like, it's not because Judge Dredd's an idiot. It's just kind of like things escalate. But this is like, when Rob Williams writes it, it's like usually Dredd's fault that he's like the Batmite of his own strip. He causes more damage than he solves. So we're already like how many episodes in? I'm
checked out.
Hating it.
Yeah.
Usually I'll give the Rob Williams stories 3 episodes. It's there was one he got up to like episode 6 and it wasn't terrible. This one, it's like pretty much out of the box. Has just been not good as far as the writing goes.
Okay, Dravilius Pact Part 2, T.C. Eglinton script, art Steve Austin, colors John Charles, and letters Simon Boland.
Jess tells Jay that she doesn't want to take Faye. I did laugh at that because they all sounded the same, the names, Jess, Jay, and Faye, to the wake, but eventually gives in, but says she will leave if there's any trouble. Uncle Lee turns up looking a bit worse for wear. Apparently he owes money and he was roughed up to remind him to pay it. Jay says he'll clear his debt so long as he gets help for his gambling and drinking, etc., etc., etc. Come the wake, and Todd has had a few drinks and become a bit leery. Jay is asked to handle security, especially as Harper is here with 2 bodyguards. And before you know it, Todd bottles Harper, and so Jay steps in as the bodyguards make their move. Obviously, Jess sees this and so says, "She's fucking off!"
I thought the artwork in this is very generic. It was hard to tell who was who. The character designs aren't that much different from each other. You can only tell who's who because one's got a goatee, the other one's got a little scar on his lip, whatever. And isn't the brother or something supposed to be injured or bloody when he shows up, but yet there's no sign of blood?
Yeah.
So I think it's the artwork is very, I hate to say this, but it's very pedestrian. And I found part of it confusing. I have to go back and look at the panels closely to see, oh, that's not him, that's somebody else. So, yeah, that's just me.
Yeah.
To me, it's what was that show we were watching, John? Mobland. Yeah, I mean it's the same thing as like the previous ones. It's Mobland with supernatural twist. I like the artwork better than you do, Flint. I'm enjoying it. It's interesting, but again, it's like characters standing around talking with the occasional horror thing added into it. So the talking part's interesting. I don't dislike it, but it's also, I hope it goes someplace and then we'll decide, do you want to see more of it?
No, this is the first series of 7.
Well, we got to fill that trade, don't we?
Yeah.
What do you think, John?
I prefer the opening episode. This didn't do anything for me, really.
Okay, we're going to add an ad for the Judge Dredd magazine that looks like another convention sketch come to life. Tharg's Thrillers, as Rossy would say. Relict Invasive Species Part 1. Script Hunter Vincent, art Lee Milmore, and letters Simon Boland.
So this is a sequel to a Future Shock you probably don't remember because it was like from years ago. And it's about the super smart mouse that can talk. And even though the other mice are smart too, he's the smartest one. And there's been an apocalypse and the mice are trying to survive, but nature is taking its course and they're all dying off, whether it's from being eaten by a giant bug or whatever. There was, I think, 17 really smart ones. Their children aren't as smart as they are. So he's looking at the end of the world, but he has this great idea about a bug spray that involves convincing the bugs to making a spray that smells like a bug larva that will convince the bugs to bring the mice food as they would bring food to their own larva. The hero mouse with the little vest meets another mouse that can kind of talk, and they need some muscle. So there's some mice that were like really fucked up by these experiments, and one of them's just like too wild and crazy. And then they have another one that looks all fucked up, and I guess he chewed off his own arm or forepaw, and but that one can speak, so that's the cliffhanger.
Dun, dun.
Well,
Yep.
I read this, and I read it through the eyes of Mr. Ross. I thoroughly enjoyed it, because as I was reading it, I thought, "Oh, Rossy, I love this."
Mm-hmm.
It's a good opener.
It is. I love the artwork. I loved how every single ratty creature has got the little ball patch where they've had the brains altered. So that's why he's kept that in every shot. I love the action sequence where he's got his little makeshift knife that he's got, and he's saying to all his like colleagues run, and they're all getting taken out, and then you got the countdown as each one dies, and then where it was the trying to get them to talk to each other. That sequence is really nice, but my favourite sequence was basically at the very end. All I was thinking was Trop Thunder. You know, where the character's in the jail at the end and he's like saying he can talk and he's looking shagged. I'm just thinking of the old veteran in Vietnam where he sat in the background and he introduces himself. I just have that feeling with this character. I hope this character's as crazy as that person. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really a lovely little opener, which reminded me of Rossy's strip with his fucking little characters.
Oh,
I think
Well,
I liked Lee's artwork better in this than in the last strip he did. Go ahead, Rossy.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. I mean, it's no Cavaliers. It takes a long time to explain a lot of shit, but as far as, and mice aren't really like my jam in the rodent world, but having said those things, I really enjoyed it a hell of a lot. So it's very imaginative and has a lot of potential. So I'm good with it.
Okay, Azimuth, Abandoned by God, Part 2. Dan Abnett, Tazio Betten, Matt Soff, and the Cosplay Cowboy, Dim Dumbbell.
Okay, so a bunch of characters stand around talking. They're introducing the idea that Lords of the New Flesh are going to team up because something from the outside is coming in and there's a catastrophe on its way, and Annika, some of them think that the city Annika or world is all-powerful and unstoppable, but Two-Face thinks that it's like, no, it's we better team up because other ones have fallen down. And then they want to have this Susie 9mm because her software is like old and out of date. See? Because her software is old and out of date.
She's running the Rossy software.
Right? It'll fly under the radar, and she might actually get through and be able to do it because it's like out of code. And then meanwhile, Bald Judge Anderson and Dexter are in the what do they call it? The wastes of the Shadow Band domain, and
It's where all the ECBT guys stay.
Yeah. No, there's no shadow ban there. It's just fuck off overland. So she's damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. She doesn't wear the helmet. It's like millions of souls are getting in her head. She puts her helmet on. It's a different kind of pain that she's subject to. And then these scavenger creatures come and attack them.
It's the pain from people reading the Rob Williams Dread story she's listening to.
Yeah. it's the pain from some of the old... why did you put... What's with the... Oh! Wow. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Well,
There's
we'll
some little bit of fan service going on there with the Taylor Moon character. Yeah, so and then the scavengers attack, and then because they need a cliffhanger, and there you go. I gotta hand it to him for taking Sinister Dexter in a totally new direction, and with its own world building and its own set of rules and the pun names, and it's very, very clever. It just doesn't get me in the feels because it's been a long time since I've cared about Sinister Dexter. But I appreciate the artwork, and I appreciate the brain work that went into building the world and all the puns, and the dialogue's quite good too.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the build up to see where we're going to go still. I thought all these multicolored speech bubbles were just a bit, and then the final bit when you're the final page where you got Dexter stood behind Anderson, and she says gun up, and then they wait and wait and wait, and he's still stood behind her, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they're right on top, he's somehow in front of her, and then they open fire. I don't get that at all.
I love the artwork. I love the little touches. I did spot that one thing in the one panel, but that's fine. I'm sure that'll be covered up with speech balloons and going forward, if that's her usual pose. Yeah, it's okay, but it's Sinister Dexter, and it gets to a point that no matter how good the artwork is, you just wanted to get on with it and end.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that aggressive about it, but it's like it is sort of like they're really trying to keep it going. So
well, they did breathe new life into it by having this world, the Azimuth. But I think it's starting to wear its welcome.
Yeah, I'm not as like the other stories that we got sick of that they just kept coming back with, like, Skip Tracer and Hope for the Future, and to a lesser degree that Black Goo story and all that. It's like, for whatever reason they have this vested interest in keeping Sinister Dexter going. Maybe it's Dan Abnett's passion project. I don't know, but this is one that's like, it's a tough sell, because if, like, let's say you were trying to introduce 2000 AD to someone who's never read it before, how would you even begin to explain the backstory to Azimuth? Even if you only began with the Azimuth part of it, like, how would you even explain that to somebody?
It's especially that the property didn't sell well in the US either. I mean, they did some trades, and the trades didn't even sell well, and then they tried to do that monthly series that didn't go well either.
Right, because when it started, it was cashing in on Pulp Fiction, and then it became its own thing. And some of that stuff, I don't know if it works outside of the context. Like Rogue Trooper, I don't think works outside of the context of when it first started. Like, war comics were big with kids in the 70s. You said future, they just put the two words kids like, future and war, together, and said, here you go, and created a genre. And Rogue Trooper was a part of that. This one was, dude, I even remember when I was kind of half thinking of submitting to them. on one of the submissions, when they were giving submission guidelines, they said, please do not send us another story about dudes in trench coats walking around with quippy dialogue. So anyway, I like it. It's fine. But, you know, again, it's like, I wish they'd make the effort to come up with something new, and isn't just like this decades old story that played out a while back. But if you're going to do that, this is the most successful version of that.
Okay, last but not least. Well, actually, we have letters from the editor coming up after this. Scarlet Tracers, Empire Blood, Part 10, Ian Edgerton, Disraeli, and the Cosplay Cowboy, Dim Dumbbell.
Okay, so the Germans have stolen one of the Martian war machines, and they're admiring the skill and workmanship behind it because they're Germans, and that's what Germans do.
There's going to make some ovens out of this material.
They're probably going to try to reverse engineer it into a sports car of some kind. So anyway, they're talking about, you know, the how far advanced this technology is, and they're getting ready to take it back to Germany. Meanwhile, the Bobby shows up at the investigator's house to make sure that he's not going to do something stupid, and he's doing exactly that. He's been called off the case, but he's still investigating it. He's got the sailor who's got the burns all over him in his home, and they're connecting the dots. We learn that all of them are orphans, either orphans or no longer married. The Bobby's wife left with the milkman, and the investigator's wife and child died, so they're not connected to this world so much anymore. Same thing with the fellow with the burns, and they're going to go off and investigate the case, even though they're not supposed to. And the two fellows that they got into a little tussle, little bit of a fight with in the hallway in the last installment, those two guys are following them. So there you go.
I did like the little touch by the policeman saying that his wife ran off the postman, the poor bugger.
Yeah.
So, because isn't Ian Edgerton divorced?
I think so, yeah.
So he's letting out he's venting there.
Projecting. The dialogue's always good, and even though it's not the, you know, this is another one that, like, when we left it, it was full of epic battles and
it's
just
kind of a
mind-blowing shit. And now we're right back to slow. It's like 2000 AD, the world's greatest slow burn. So
yeah, I'll agree with that. It was okay, yeah. Some decent dialogue, but I wanted to get quicker, man. More.
Yeah, we've had all the groundwork set out. Let's get some action and get some sort of reactions to what they've been planning all along. But yeah, artwork's fantastic. Just enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, input. Dare you contact the mightiest being in the galaxy?
All right, well, I read these this morning on my break, and the standard is as shit as usual. So here we go. Eyes down. Star letter, Ian James of Shrewsbury. And apparently he can't control his money. But yet he wants us to listen to his musings. Sorry, mate, but I'd rather listen to a brick settle after being laid on a wall. Sad twat Andrew Foote from Wiltshire is next. This letter is from the type of fan Tharg adores, a loser in all respects. He says that when the prog arrives, he reads it over and over and over. My arse. Yeah. He then breaks down what he does with subscriber delivery packet. If ever someone was screaming out that they were a cook, this is yours. Sorry, Ian is your fucking, and I was going to say man, but that would be a lie. Robert Smith, love cats. Bit of a thing Ross there. From Poor Man's Oz, yes, New Zealand. He writes a fucking long letter saying that he's a cheap fucker. What a waste of space. That was a load of bollocks, if you ask me. N.A. Parry of Burton-upon-Trent is next. And he's a big fan of horror. All of 2000 AD's horror strips. He then shows Tharg his true fan strength by asking for a horror special. And Tharg replies, if you were a true fan, you would have realised we did a horror special a while back, you fucking dickhead. And lastly, Steve Downing of Plymouth shows us some of the pics of years gone by merch and things that nobody else may have seen. These thinks, see, that's what you do when you're writing it in the fucking dark, and thinks that nobody else may have seen these items. Give me strength. I fucking detest these people who pop up on the fucking web and on here saying, have you seen this? When all of the real fans saw those items fucking decades ago, you sad twat.
Even I own the Bubble Buddies, and that's here in the United States.
Yeah,
and they were never sold properly in real stores. There's some in the wholesale district.
It's just, these letters are just terrible, aren't they? I mean, that middle one from fucking Robert Smith just saying, oh, it costs a little bit more. Fuck me, it was the longest letter by fucking far. It was the whole fucking centre column of just rubbish. I dread, and the irony is in what I've just said, I dread when they all start talking about, I've just seen the fucking movie news about Dread. Oh my God, we're going to get some fucking letters on that, aren't we? Fucking hell.
Now, let me ask you, going back to the early days of when you first started tackling the lettered pages, do you actually know any of these people in real life?
Not this lot.
Okay.
But then again, they might all be fake names, mightn't they?
Because there were a few of them I recognized from the contingent back in the old days, and Steve Longden, anyway.
Yeah, but they all deserve it, because if you don't write a decent letter, I just think, what a waste. Dear Tharg, I'm sat in my basement, Mother has made tea, and I'm now going to tell you, I've been reading the comic for 40 years.
I remember when my nan used to go to the shops.
Yeah. my great uncle, who used to fondle me nicely, used to get me the Prog every Saturday and said, Jimmy, don't tell your mum and dad, but this will be our secret. I'll give you the Prog if you give me a quick nosh. Star letter, Tharg says, star letter quality.
Why don't you get sponsored by Weetabix anymore?
So what was your favorite story?
Well, I've got to say I thoroughly enjoyed, I enjoyed the most Scarlet Traces, but I really did narrowly just behind with the thrillers. I just thought it was just nicely drawn. It was funny. It gave us a little bit of a tease at the end for what's coming. And I'm just like, well, I like that, but nothing's surpassing the old alien shit yet.
What about you, Rossy?
Oh, I'm going to give it to the mice. Even though I don't know. I enjoyed everything except the Dread story, and even that had excellent artwork. But I'm the Ravelous.
Well said, John.
It feels like the last bunch of 2000 AD horror-ish type stories with a Mobland theme this time, and Azimuth. It's fine, but you just kind of like read it because it's like the story that's in between two other stories. And Scarlet Traces I'm kind of waiting for that to take off, but it's part 10, so yeah.
Wow.
I know. So
I never even noticed that either. Well spotted, Rossy.
Yeah, so it's like part 10, and
so in a couple of weeks will be Scarlet Traces will return in 2028.
I would rather have it come back than not, but it's just one of those things, I'm okay with it, but I'm not loving it, And I used to love 2000 AD, so that's pretty much the overarching theme is,
I'd go for the thrillers as well. The mice one, I thought was a really good setup. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Rossy, you have 8 minutes, don't you? You have to leave in 8 minutes time.
I can make it more like 10 or 15.
Oh, there you go. So John can talk about his
yes.
Right.
his adventures.
So since Thursday night, we went to Leo's Red Line to watch two groups. One's our favourite group perform intimate fucking thing in the amphitheatre outside. Beautiful summer evening. First group was Lead Feather, proper classic 70s fucking Led Zeppelin-y sound, voice and that. Stripped. They were doing an acoustic set. That was fantastic. And then after that, Gorilla Riot were on, and they did a stripped-down version of loads of their hits. And they were both playing at Made of Stone on the weekend. So we had an elongated festival. So we watched that, thoroughly enjoyed it. Come the Friday night, or Friday afternoon, me and Sam went into the festival first because Carolyn was still at school working hard. So we managed to watch Lead Feather and a couple of other things. I'll mention something that happened right at the end now, so I don't forget, so you can hear it. So we get lots of comments, nice comments from people who see Sam enjoying himself, and it's really nice to chat, and we've met loads of people over it. But there was we watched the penultimate group on the Sunday night, Empire, and this bloke, probably mid-30s, came over. He come to me and he goes, so Sam was jumping up and down to our side, and he come up to me and goes, oh, is it possible to have a word? I went, yeah, hang on a second. Sam, and then he said to Carolyn, is it possible to have a word with one of you, sort of thing? I said, no, we're okay, mate. Yeah, Sam. And he said that, and this was fucking, he was welling up, and he said, I just want to say, I've been watching you over the weekend with your son. And he said he had a 5-year-old son. Carolyn would remember all the things that he said about his son, but his son had a lot of problems and things. And he said that him and his wife, and this is when he put his sunglasses on because he started to really tear. He said him and his wife felt as though they were in a fucking deep hole. They couldn't get out. They couldn't see any light, at the end of the tunnel or anything like that. He said it was just, they felt so lonely. And he said he watched us enjoying ourselves with our son, and he just wanted to come over and just say that we've sort of helped him a little bit. So we chatted to him, and I said, look, mate, I said, because Carolyn comes down with all the stuff. She'll go not clinical, but she'll use just obviously she's worked in a special school. She will say, look, it's not going to be easy, and your child might be completely different to what you expect as he grows up. I say, he'll have this, whatever it is now, but it might alter and this and the other, and you'll see leaps and bounds and other things. So never give up, all that sort of stuff. And I said to him, look, mate, I said, I sat around the table with Carolyn, and we got told when Sam was about 3 or 4, and it was just all negative. It was just, he'll not do this, he'll not do that. I said, it was basically like a fucking funeral in front of me, seeing. I said, I didn't want I didn't want to be the greatest person on the planet. I just want him to enjoy himself. I said, and as you can see, he does. So we're not bothered. I said, but all the things they said, we surpassed fucking 100-fold. I said, that T-shirt he was wearing the Lemmy T-shirt from fucking America. I said, me and him went over to America and did a little drive around, seeing a couple of mates. I said, no, we would never have thought of that when he was young. I said, but we did it. I said, so just don't give up hope, all that. But honestly, it was fucking heartbreaking because we knew exactly where he was feeling, because that was probably the feeling I had when I got told that Sam wouldn't do anything. So, and it was probably the worst thing in my life, sort of thing. It surpasses deaths of loved ones and stuff, because it was the death of the son that I wanted. So I could see exactly, and I thought it fucking took a lot of courage for him to come up to us, two strangers, and to open his heart, you know what I mean? So hopefully we've given a bit of positivity to say, and I did say to him, look, hopefully we'll see you with your wife and your son, because obviously his wife was at home with the son. I said, hopefully we'll see you and your family next year here. I said, because you can see how friendly it is. There was another child there, severely disabled in a wheelchair, and he was on his father's shoulders with a couple of people holding him up there, which was beautiful to see. That child was put into the, where the photographers go at the front of the stage, there's a special area. He was put in there, and there's an amazing picture of him looking at a singer, one of the singers that we really like, and it's a black and white arty shot, and it is fucking fantastic. Everyone who's seen it saying it's one of the best pictures of the whole weekend. And there's a couple of other people that we see who are in wheelchairs and stuff who we know. In fact, one of the people who works at our main store, he's in a wheelchair. We chat to him, and we eventually saw him on the Sunday. In the seating area. He said, "Oh, you made it. We wondered if we hadn't seen you all weekend. We didn't know if he'd made it or not." So yeah, but for that poor bloke, to come up to two strangers and say what he did. But like I say, we just hope that he can take that back to his missus and just go, look, we just have to fucking go with it, you know what I mean? But I wonder, because you don't ask loads of questions, I wonder if they haven't got the love of the family surrounding them, you know what I mean? Mm. So I look at Mary and Peter, Carol's mum and dad, they were fantastic. Well, Mary still is, but Peter was fantastic with Sam. And then some of our friends, their children who grew up with Sam, the same age, one of them, Jack, he was like, I can't believe Sam's went to college before me, when Sam went down to Brighton to college. And then he's doing all his stuff with his college, and at Christmas he wanted to come back to see how Sam was getting on. You know what I mean? And it's just that we had like really good friends and family stuff. So you just wonder. But like I say, hopefully things will improve for them. But for the rest of the weekend, I must have spent about... Well, I've got... Let me have a look. I'll tell you how many T-shirts I've got here. I've got a lead feather T-shirt. I've got two made of stone T-shirts. I've got a deep... Which one's that one? Dirty Honey. I've got a Bogree and a These Wicked Rivers T-shirt. I think there's one in the wash. And Carolyn and Sam have got about 4 each. So, and the T-shirts. So I spent quite a bit on them. What else did we get? We got I got a lot of pictures of Sam with the groups, but the problem is I took them in such high fucking megabit definition shit, 200 megapixels, what the fuck it is. I think on the phone normally it's 12, whatever it says at the front it's 12, then it's 50, then it's 200. But I wanted it in such high quality that I can blow it up. But the thing is, you can't fucking post them pictures on Facebook because they're too fucking detailed. So then I had to go online to fucking grade the picture quality to be able to post it on. I did it with one and I thought I can't be arsed doing anymore. But Sam got some fantastic pictures. But the best one was with a group called Marisa and the Moths. And they went and sat in the signing tent. Now I knew, because we were at the front, I wanted to chance my arm with this. Now every picture I'd seen already was people leaning across the table while the people were behind the table signing stuff, and you'd get a picture like leaning across the table. I just said, Sam, get me on the table, get in between. And before we could be stopped, because the security or the event person went, oh, you can't do that. I went, well, he's there now, mate. And I'll take a picture. So I got a lovely picture in between the four members of the group. So that's one of my favourites. But yeah, the music was fantastic. I've got to say, there was a female guitarist on the Saturday called Sophie Lloyd. Now, I didn't know anything about her, but Marisa from Marisa and the Moths was doing some singing on her performance. So I thought, well, we'll watch it. Now, the thing was, they had a big crowd, and I know why they had a big crowd, because Sophie Lloyd had a very tight mesh top on, and she had masking tape across her nipples, and she had a nice pair of breasts. And then on comes Marisa, who has very small breasts, and she basically was wearing nothing. She had a mesh top but it was so fine. She might as well be wearing nothing, and she had 2 bits of tape on each nipple. And I knew Carolyn was thinking, she's like, "There's no need for this, is there?" so I had a laugh. I went, "Yeah." I said, "The thing is, she played the intro music. She played was the Top Gun theme. Then she did like fucking Back in Black and a bit of Led Zeppelin. She did all the fucking famous things, and then she did her songs, which were like, oh, I don't know who the fuck what this is." But she had 3 people come out to sing with her. So Marisa sang with her. This bloke came out who was like if you wanted to draw a comedic rock star, this bloke was him. Leather trousers, bleached hair, dangly bits on the belt and shit, all that. It was laughable. But people said, I mean, he had a decent voice, but people were going, "Oh, he's fantastic." And I'm like, "I don't know who he is, but I'm laughing." And then the other person who came out was the headliner from Blackstone Cherry. He was singing with them. He was called Chris Robertson. So when they were doing the songs, it was pretty good. But all of their stuff was, I'm like, well, who is she? But we realised why people wanted to watch them, because they basically got the tits out. And when we saw Blow, honestly, when we saw Blow up the next day, 2 people came up to us, this couple, and they said they wanted to talk about Sam and all that. And we got talking about everything. And the bloke said, and he said in basically these sort of words, he goes, "Oh yeah, I watched that Sophie Lloyd. I don't know why she had to get her tits out. She's a more than decent guitarist, but why she got to be on stage like semi-naked?" And in my head, I'm thinking, because it's awesome, but I'm thinking,
which is the correct answer.
I agree with him, because I'm just thinking, your guitar playing's awesome. You don't need to do that to sort of like say, "Look at me," you know what I mean? Your music should be able to do it. But it gets the fans, doesn't it?
Have they never heard of any rock and roll band ever before?
That's it. So anyway, so on the Friday we watched Leadfeather. We watched a bloke called Tom Kilner who played proper southern rock, and then I was stood near the queue for the merch tent, and I heard him talk to somebody, and I fucking double took to see it was him. And so he's playing this beautiful southern rock with a proper southern rock voice, and he's from Sheffield. Fucking, I said to Carolyn, "Come over here." I said, listen to him. That's the lead singer of that group. And she's like, "No." So I said to him, "Where are you from, mate?" I said, "It's the Midlands somewhere, innit?" He goes, "Oh, a little bit higher, just Sheffield." I said, "Well, I've got to say, mate," I said, "I didn't expect that accent after that set you just did." So he was quite nice. Then we watched Guerrilla Riot, and Sam got a shout out on that. They were fantastic. It was nice to see them on the bigger stage. Absolutely fantastic. And we chatted all the time. One of the girl singers was saying to Carolyn, she's a bit nervous because they've not had a stage this big before. And Carolyn was saying, "You're gonna knock it out of the park. Don't worry about it." And they did. And then the final act we watched was Dirty Honey, who were the group I've been following for the last 2 years, who started off in Los Angeles, and they're sort of really making it big now. That I think they broke through by sort of like a radio station getting something and somebody promoting them, and then Slash took them out on tour, and then it snowballed from there. So it was fantastic to see them. It didn't rain. Now, we got told by the weather forecast, which gets paid, I think, $2 billion, the weather meteorological shit over here. They said it was going to piss down all weekend from Friday to Monday morning, and it was going to be thunder and lightning one of the days. It was Friday initially, then it went to Saturday, then it went to Sunday for the thunder and lightning. Didn't rain at all on Friday. Saturday, it rained for the first group that we saw, which I'm trying to think who it was, Fury. So it was dry when we watched Bobby Dazzle, who were the next group. It was pissing down, absolutely pissing down. So I bought these cheap waterproofs, but I put one on Sam. Carolyn was wearing a leather jacket. I was just in a T-shirt. I thought, fuck this. I'll see how far it goes before I give in and be a softie, which I didn't do. I just got wet, but then it dried up. Now, the thing was then, we didn't have any sun cream, and it became fucking red hot, and I fucking died. I had to put after sun on quite a lot when I got home that night. But
kind of baked.
Not too bad, but you can see my neck, my V on my neck, where the sun got me, or the mark, and my head is a different colour to my chest.
Oh, so you're a redneck.
Yes, that's right. And on that day, the Saturday, we watched Bobby Dazzle. She was a glam rock thing, and she told this fantastic story that when her dad died, and he loved his music and all this and the other. And she said, I looked through his albums, and I found in an album all these, I think it was half a dozen songs he'd half written. And one of them, I can't remember the name of the song, but it was hilarious because she said I couldn't use that as a song. But it was Castration or Castrate, that was it. But what she did was, on the other song, she used his lyrics and she wrote a song around the lyrics. So this song she played was like a song from the grave between her and her dad, which was lovely. It was a lovely story. She said it much better than that. So we enjoyed it, and then she did a cover of an ABBA song, which was Watch Out, which was hilariously good. Then we watched Kim Jennett, who we've been watching a few times. Tiny little lass, big voice, covered in tattoos. She wore leather shorts and a leather top in homage to Elvis Presley's suit. Elvis's leather suit, and she was absolutely awesome. And she did a version of Immigrant Song, which was I'd filmed her doing what I always try to do, one song of a group that I like, and I filmed the song, and as soon as that went into can I get the camera back out, try and get this, get a bit of this, but that I'll just snip a bit out of that because obviously I prefer to have the whole song. Brilliant she was. Then we watched like I say, Sophie Lloyd. Then we watched another group that we love, and these to me were my favourite group of the weekend. Bo Greek Green, the Apocalypse, Southern States rock, Louisiana, that sort of stuff. The first song that we got all the albums and shit. We've seen it before. The first song they played and I said to Cam, this has a feel of when you're watching like a fucking zombie movie, and you got they're in the voodoo fucking area of fucking Southern States, and that fucking swing of the music, the sort of voodoo beat, that on top. You know what I mean? Fantastic. They had a sound, the song that I put online of them, there was a technical issue with the guitarist, Robin, the guitarist, and then she gets told that, and you hear her go, oh no. And then she turns around, doesn't fucking bat an eyelid. She just says, we've lost a bit of power on stage. We're going to fucking come down now. So she gets the old tambourine. The keyboardist goes on to fucking proper fucking amazing fucking playing, you know what I mean, to take over until the guitarist comes back. It was fucking awesome. I think it was about 6-7 minutes long. Lovely. And then we watched a bit of Blackstone Cherry, the headliners. That was Saturday done. Sunday, raining again in the morning. We watched Marissa and the Moths, watched Empire on a VIP stage, watched Blue Nation, and then watched Empire headline the Firestarter stage. And we heard Sweet playing on the other stage. That was quite good. They had a massive crowd for Sweet. I don't know if any of them are fucking original members, but one might be, I don't know. We also watched These Wicked Rivers, who we'd seen a couple of times before, who they had been meaning to play, not just Rambler Man, but Made of Stone for over 5 years, and every time something's happened. So it was the COVID. Last year there was a family emergency. We saw them in the VIP area, had a chat to them, said we were looking forward to it because they were there for the weekend. That was the Saturday. Come the Sunday, they'd gone on the night because some member was seriously ill from their families. And this year, when they came on, you could see the fucking love from the crowd because the lead singer's got, I think he's got polio or something in his legs because he takes a long time to move to his position. He's got something anyway. That's just guessing, but he's got something. I suppose if I Googled it, it would show me. They went down a fucking storm, you know what I mean? The end said they were throwing roses out to all the fans. It was brilliant. Then we got one of Cowland's best friends asked me to. She was jokingly saying the other day, "If you loved me, you'd get me in for the Michael Schenker stuff because she likes Michael Schenker from UFO." And I was going, well, I'll film a bit for you, but I'll just talk over it and slag him off. We were given VIP tickets, wristbands. So I never put my wristband on too tight, and I don't put Sam's on too tight. So when you come home, you just take them off, put them aside, and then put them back on. So I messaged our friend. I said, look, if you want to come in on the Sunday to watch Michael Schenker, we can get you in now. But her mum's at death's door and she's got too much on her plate. But I just thought, you sometimes you need a break. You need to have something to pull you away. Because when my father-in-law, Karen's dad, when he died, we had Sam for the weekend coming up very soon after his death. And we had tickets to go to Leo's, and we ummed and ahed about it, and we went, we need to have something other than thinking of what's just happened. Sam doesn't understand it, and Peter would want Sam to enjoy himself, and so we went to Leo's, and it was a bit cathartic, you know what I mean? So that's why I thought, well, she might enjoy this, but she thanked me, saying no. So I did film a bit. I filmed a bit of us in front, and I said, here he is. He's Michael Schenker for you. I said, and what do we think of him? And I went, he's shit, isn't he? And Carolyn looked at me in disgust and shook her head. And I went, but then I filmed a proper song for her so she can have a song at home, you know what I mean? Well,
I can hardly wait to see that look in person. So,
yeah. But,
hey, I gotta run. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll say one thing before you go, Mr. Rossy.
Yes.
I bought tickets instantly when I knew they came up for next year. So we've already got tickets for both gigs, both festivals for next year. Rock and roll!
So when Gary Newman headlines, you're stuck with the tickets.
I would laugh if they got them there, like on a weird sort of thing, because they do have, like, Beaugree don't fit into the genre of what the festival is, but they fucking were good. So it would fucking piss me laughing so much, because I would send you video footage of me talking over it and laughing.
Yep. All right. So I got to get going. I will see you guys later. It's been a pleasure. Keep talking. Don't stop on my account.
No, have a good day.
Bye-bye.
See you in 20+ days.
Oh yeah. My God. I got to vacuum this place. All right. Talk to you later.
Yes.
Bye.
Right. Let me just get my books from over here, Mr. Flint, to talk about my books that I've got. Because it was our wedding anniversary today, and I got a Art of Ray Harryhausen book.
Oh, cool.
By Ray Harryhausen and Tony Dalton, forward by Peter Jackson. And it is, let's just have a look, I'll tell you how many pages it's got in it. 220, well, I'd say 230, and it's fantastic. Double page spreads, tons of behind the scenes stuff, sketches, little models, storyboards, fucking all sorts in it. It's beautiful. Little, are they maquettes that you have, the little skeleton figure? Yeah. Little ones of them, tons of storyboards there, some blueprinty type stuff. Honestly, if you can get this book, it is fucking beautiful. And I got this from a second-hand bookstore. I just saw it on the entrance when we walked past, and I said to Karen, I've got to go in there and have a look at that book. And I said, yeah. And she said, oh, I'll get you for an anniversary then. So it is wonderful. Let me just have a look. It's got the chapter headings. This book is dedicated to my dear wife, Diana. All right, so setting the scene, influences, inspirations, masks, monsters and mayhem, the formative years, fairy tales, my teething rings, Allo Rex, Zeus complex, aliens, the epitome of epitome, legends, other adventures, and it's fine stuff, but it will rot. And then an index. But for 20, what does that cost in the front? 25 quid it is, and it's fucking, it's like a coffee table book. It's beautiful. It's well worth it, that is. And then I've got that death sentence trade, and I've finished the first story, and I'm halfway through the second story, and I'm absolutely fucking loving it, but I'm trying to slow myself down. I've got the Chicago, which I mentioned the other day, and then I saw this Warhammer book pop up. I was in the Warhammer shop in Mason. I just pop in to see if any new books had come in, and there was a fucking ginormous book in there called Warhammer, the First Founding. Beautiful cover, but it was cellophaned up, and it was the only book he had.
No.
And it was 45 quid, but you could get it online for like 39. And I asked him, I said, what's in there then, mate? He goes, I don't know yet, because I haven't had a look online. I said, well, a second. I said, I looked online, because I read the back of it, and I looked online, because it said something like 19 wraparound pictures, 27 this pictures, and what are the pictures that? I thought, I hope it's not just a picture book. And it has a silver edge to the actual, when you look at the paper edge, it's got a silver effect to it. So I went online and I had to keep looking loads of different pages to find what the pages looked like inside. And what this book is, it's the 9 loyal chapters, the loyal legions, and it's got tons of information, which is what I want.
I played one of the Warhammer first-person games the other day. Warhammer Bolt Gun.
Oh yeah,
Bolt Gun. Yeah, I'd known nothing about Warhammer. It was a lot of fun. Done like an old school arcade game.
Right. So this is like the loyal legions. So I'm presuming we'll get a traitor legions book in the future, but it's fantastic. I'm well impressed with that. So there's all my lovely books. So I am very happy. And I also got the old fucking sci-fi special, which I haven't even bothered looking at yet. Because I'm just too fucking... The what?
The 2000AD sci-fi special?
Yeah, I got that the other day, but I've not had a chance to look at it.
No.
Let me just have a look. What did it... I think there was something I read about it, but I've not even looked into now. I'll tell you what the stories are. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, there's a Henry Flint, I think, Strontium Dog one, right? Or is that Jake Lynch?
Yeah, the end. That's called the Holiday Job. You got Anthony Crucis Investigates. You got a Future Shock. You got The Out, and then you got Judge Dredd. Costa Faratu.
The thing with the Anthony Crucis thing. The last time you seen Anthony Crucis, he was jailed or in a parallel Earth.
Yeah.
They never finished it.
I'll tell you what this is then. Let's have a quick look, see where he is. There's Dredd, there's The Out. That's The Shock. Right, here we go. Anthony Crucis. No, it looks like he's in Cairo or something like that. Where's that?
Cairo. It must be one of the stories that they had before his cliffhanger of him being locked away in some jail or something in a mirror universe. It's weird that they never finished it.
Yeah, there's some big creature involved. Nice artwork. So yeah, all good stuff. So and now I've got a festival this weekend to look forward to, with the headliners, which are Reef, Happy Mondays, and Republica, the ones that we know of. So, and that's going to be a bloody good laugh.
Well, you seem to be enjoying yourself.
Well, do you know what? When I look at people whinging and moaning all over Facebook, I just think, fucking hell. I've used the phrase numerous times. You get one chance at your life. You know what I mean? You can either strive for greatness and all that and be fucking whinging that you never fucking become an award winner or whatever. But I just think, and I said this when I left the army, so long as I've got enough money to fucking live on and pay my mortgage off, and eventually we did, then I'm happy. I don't need the fucking world, but I'll fucking visit the world now. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, that's it. Fucking spend the money, work hard. You know, I don't fucking take the piss. I work hard. I fucking put the hours in, and then the weekend's hours. You know what I mean? So fucking bollocks. All those, and I just think, why? What? It's like when they're constantly whinging about who's in charge and stuff. And I'm like, fucking hell. Whoever's in charge, the bills are going to go up. The fucking rates are going to go up. Nothing comes down. So it doesn't matter who's there. So just fucking get on with your life. At the end, when you're on your deathbed, go, oh, do you know what? I'm glad I fucking constantly whinge for this party and fucking put 50,000 posts on Facebook and slagged off all those people who stayed on Twitter when it became X because they're all fucking this, that, and the other. I'm like, I'm glad you're enjoying that, because I'm actually enjoying life.
Yeah. All right, I think we're done. Is there anything you want to say before we hit the road?
Yeah. I'm glad you lot have all got your mortgages still and living miserable lives.
Oh, and on that bombshell, I'll stop recording.